Total Smith here. Make sure y'all subscribe to my boy Downtown Deuce ASAP. Come on, man.
Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Destination restoration. It's our time. Can you feel the elevation? We on a mission on vacation. Time to create the separation. Championships and motivation. 3-1-3 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for the confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination. Together all the time together. It's us against the world, it don't get no better. We turned it around, that was the beginning. Coming for the crown, you know we winning. Time to put in the work, I'm about to go for step. Taking our prisoners, it's my time. Yeah, I know that it hurts. Say break out the church, you don't wanna see me in my prime. The mission is to ring, we're caught in everything. In the city, supporting the dream. Mission who I never see, we deserve to be king. It's all or nothing, no in between. The clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The dog pound body's crippling. Now the clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The dog pound body's crippling. To the elevation. We on a mission on vacation. Time to create the separation. Championships and motivation. 3-1-3 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for the confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination.
What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Deuce Show with the boss. Happy New Year, everybody. We are officially in 2026. Hope you guys had a great holiday and hope you guys are ready for another great year, calendar year of Pistons basketball. As much fun as last year was, I do think we are going to have more fun this year, but it didn't get out to a great start tonight, boss. How you feeling?
Yeah, well, again, like you said, Happy New Year, everybody. I was just hoping to start the new year off with a win, but now we have nowhere to go but up. So, frustrating loss. I think there were a few mistakes that we made. Miami wasn't that clean either, but they just were able to overcome their mistakes as well.
Yeah.
Always a team that is just tough to win. I think what did Johnny Kane say? Like the last 9 games, the road team has won 8 of them when we face them.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that. Wow.
Yeah. Maybe not 9, maybe out of like 10 or 11, but 8 of the times it's majority the road team and they just always give us trouble. This was the almost 4th game in a row that we've lost to them, or no, I'm sorry, 5th game in a row that the game was determined by 1 score. This time it was determined by 4 points, it was 2 scores, but just a bummer. There are a lot of things we can point to. There's a lot of things I liked. It wasn't like we just lay down and let them, run over us like the Lakers did for us the other day.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of things that definitely helped contribute to our loss tonight, and it just didn't seem like that. So that's where I'm at with it. Trying not to get too bummed out. I was hoping we'd extend our lead over the Knicks after they lost to the Spurs last night.
Right.
But no worries.
We're still a game and a half over the Knicks, the same way we were a game and a half over the Knicks from the point we took control of the East and went in the first place. So we're right in the same spot where we were when it came to the Knicks and those teams. So M_EO says that was not Detroit basketball. Yeah, it wasn't tonight, man. We're gonna get to why we think that was the case. But before we do that, chat, we want to shout you guys out. We see you guys here. Devin, what's up, man? Appreciate you showing love as always. I got a chance to meet Devin not too long ago at a Pistons game at LCA. So shout out to you, man. Mm-hmm. For sure. Sean says 2026. Everybody, we are officially in the new year. So, guys, let's go ahead and get to this game. Claire, we see happy New Year to you as well.
Can I do my PSA real quick?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, get into your PSA, boss.
It's the last day, guys. You guys have been amazing with the donations, the super chats.
Yes.
Send 50% to the Holland Group Foundation. It's been fantastic. Such a great run. Tonight's the last night of it as we go into the new year. We'll probably do some other campaigns for some other charities in the future, but
for sure.
Thank you so much, guys, for contributing, and we'll shout you all out. But tonight is the last night. If you do want to make a super chat or a donation separately, and the link, just let me know so that we can include you in the shout out, because you definitely deserve it. So
absolutely. So you guys all get your flowers. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have been great. So, boss, the Pistons 5-game road trip is officially behind them, and they were back home for this one against the Heat. Was probably nice for these guys to be back in their own beds and just to have that familiarity again, right? And that was a good thing, but they just didn't have the same pop that we're used to seeing them have, and that's why they fell short in their return home, losing to the Heat tonight, 118-112, to drop to 25-9, boss, on the regular season. As far as the injury report, guys, we were missing Tobias Harris. He was out with his left hip sprain that he sustained last game, and Karis LeVert missed his second straight game with knee inflammation, boss. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some initial thoughts. And guys, we will try our best to get to your comments. Like boss mentioned earlier, if you want to show some love with a super chat, make sure you hit us. If not, we will do the best that we can to get to you guys' comments individually going forward. So I see some of these comments about guys who who you like, who you didn't like tonight, and we'll get to all that. Before we do, boss, let's go ahead and get to some initial thoughts you have from tonight's game. What did you see coming into this game?
Well, so we did start it off with the 2 big lineup, which was exciting because we were talking about whether he would go 2 big, or I was thinking maybe put it in Ron and ship the Ausar to the 4. I thought JB might be a little bit more experimental with it, but I'm glad that he went with the 2 big. It just started, pretty equal, and then we pulled ahead a little bit, and then they pulled ahead a lot. Didn't really catch up. We got close a few times. My thoughts were just that, that was just not a fun game like it has been, Yeah. It's just a bummer to lose again at home on New Year's Day with the packed house. So that's more where I'm at. My initial thoughts was I'm just fun for these guys, and I'm just going to hope that they, I know that they're going to take it to heart and not want it to happen more.
Yeah.
Today, I will say, I know that both Tobias and LeVert get their fair share of criticism, and who's to say what could have happened, but LeVert, I think, has played consistent defense, and Tobias has brought consistent offense, and both of those things could have been helpful tonight. But so I think that we missed them a little bit, but then some of our guys really did step up. Some other guys, we'll get to them, like B-Ball, Paul, and Sasser.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I do like what DMG said here. Do not press the panic button after this game. Of course. Right? It's just one game. Wasn't a good game.
Hit 10 losses.
Yeah.
We're still under double-digit losses. That's
almost 35 games. Yeah. So that's a good thing. Yeah, absolutely. So we're not going to panic, but we are going to point out what we saw and what we didn't see, what we're used to seeing, right, normally from our team. So for me, boss, I was hoping that the Pistons would have a rejuvenated spirit, just being back home off the road trip. But it wasn't to the level that we're used to seeing it for our Pistons team. They just seemed sluggish tonight. It didn't seem like they had their legs. And it seemed like they had a hangover for me after this game because, coming back home, the body clock is off. It was tough for us. Just the last game, we were up to 3 a.m, something like that crazy. So, so it had to be tough for them as well, as far as just coming home and having that jet lag a little bit and just body clock thrown off a little bit.
Yeah, and also we, they mentioned in the broadcast that JB didn't do really a practice. They just did a walkthrough, just trying to, they probably just thought that was what was best. And, we really saw it in the first. And then I even told you, that felt like a warm-up period, and we can come back from this. I feel like we haven't been down by that much in a while. So to come back the way we did was cool. But of course, we want to win the games and not get into those deficits. So you can't really blame it. I mean, these guys most of these guys have been in the league for a few years. So they're used to road trips. They're used to coming back. So it's not necessarily an excuse, but it could be an explanation to why they felt a little off.
Now, you made a good point. We haven't been down this type of deficit for this long of the game. We didn't feel like we were really in control for this game for much of it. And it was, for me, it was just the energy. You could even hear Coach early and often in this game, boss, saying push after every Miami Heat missed shot or turnover. You could just see him doing like with his arm, like when they get the rebound, like, come on, let's go. And guys still weren't able to they weren't really sprinting. They were kind of just like, all right, coach saying, let's go. We got to move. But it wasn't the same type of urgency after missed shots and turnovers that we usually see, at least not consistently for me. And because of it, they got a taste of their own medicine tonight. As far as with what the Heat were doing. The Pistons were really careless with the basketball. And they allowed the Heat, the thing is, the Heat, they like to run too. You know what I mean? They make you pay too. So, and it's interesting. I want to give the Heat some credit here because the last time these two teams played, the Pistons had a bigger advantage in transition points, but from jump, they did not. I think the Heat had like a 14-2 advantage in transition. So I do want to give the Heat credit for improving that because they have gotten better with that since the last time. It was obvious we were better at doing that last time. But tonight, the Heat have improved on that. So the Pistons got to do a better job taking care of the basketball and getting back on D, boss.
Yeah, they had, and the Heat had their fair share of turnovers as well, but they were just able to really score off of ours.
Right.
And again, and some people mentioned it in the comments before, but it just seemed like they matched our game to a point of like running, but again, and they just, we haven't had an opponent run the way we run like they do. I would say in a while. So it's kind of a wake up call for us. And I think we did pick it up a little bit on defense in the second half, but then our shots weren't going down. I don't like, and I told you, like, I don't like when we're down big or when they're making their threes, we turn into try to turn into a 3-point shooting team, because I think we get best in the mid range and at the rim. So that never helps us when we go empty because we're trying to, get as many points as we can in a short period of time.
Right, sure too.
I get why they do it. It worked for Sass later on. Wu hit a big one for us, but there was a time in the third where I think, after a timeout, we went like 0 for 4 in possessions because we were just putting up threes that we shouldn't have been putting. Right. You
mentioned that. So you mentioned that for sure. Yep.
Yeah. And then just to mention it too, the Heat are an offensive team. They have 4 players that average over 16 points a game. Something that, I was hoping our defense would help shut down tonight, but they had guys pick it up where it wasn't. And Norman Powell was an issue. And he was definitely an issue. We had good defense, and I would say majority of the time, and they were just shooting over us. And then we started off with poor defense. I think we left a lot of guys open, got on our feet, but by then they were in their offensive rhythm. So like you said, credit to the Heat because despite their turnovers and their mistakes, they played a really good, well-rounded game. Yeah.
And for me, it was like, it just wasn't consistent, boss, for the Pistons. Like you would see them pick it up like in spurts, like their effort. In the second quarter, they picked it up. The bench helped them pick it up. Fourth quarter, same thing. You saw them pick it up, especially late in the game, but it just wasn't consistent. Even in the first half, they didn't close the game out well. They had a 1-point lead in the second quarter, and they didn't close the half out well. The Heat ended up going up by 9 in a span of like 2 minutes. So they fell asleep. Defensively, they would bring it at times, and they would fall asleep, and they would allow the Heat to do what they want to do, which is, they turn us over and get out and run. So, and they're relentless. The Heat are relentless, man. We're pushing the pace. So if you have a lapse and they're knocking down shots the way like they were tonight, like Powell, you mentioned, had 34 points in the third quarter. Like that's a recipe for losing to a team like Miami. So it kind of bit him a little bit.
And Powell, can give it up to Wiggins, and he's a threat. Who can give it up to Hawkins, and he's a threat. Who can give it up to Jovic, and he's a threat. So again, those are and Kalel, where I think we held him to a pretty decent game. Adebayo too, like those, he had a good game as well. But with 15, we're only at 4 points and 13 rebounds, but he's one of those guys up there. That's just another thing too. They just totally out rebounded us tonight, and
they did.
And JD went out early, but at the start of the half, at the end of the first half, JD only had 5 rebounds, and both Adebayo and Ware had 10 each. 20.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
And I think Stu had 4, but Stu, when Duren is in, I don't think Stu's more on the perimeter as a big.
And when he's not, he's contesting at the rim. Right. So it's hard to be a pogo stick to contest at the rim, turn right around and get the board. He's looking for his backside help to get those boards.
He had 5 blocks tonight, so I can't put any blames on him. So and I noticed it early too when Stu was shooting a 3 and Duren didn't even try to get around an Adebayo box out. There's just some things that I'm just like, the effort for a few people just weren't up there tonight. So
I agree, boss. So let's get to some quick comments, and then we will get to some box score. Like I said, if we missed you guys, we apologize. Y'all know how to get back to us. What do we have here? A packed house, and they don't even try wonder why. Well, to me, I know where you're coming from, the Beast, but to me, I really do think it was just more so a schedule loss is what you would call it, to where it's like you come off a long road trip and you just don't have your legs. That's not to make an excuse, because you want to see these guys try to bring it every game. Yep. But that's a real thing. Like if we're tired, if we as fans are tired because we're here talking about it after the game and it's late, these guys got to get on flights. They got to get back home. They got to get to sleep. They got to get up and go to a practice, or like you said, a walk through today because of the lack of sleep and things like that. It's a real thing. So not to excuse it, but it does kind of explain when you see these guys not playing to a certain level they usually play. You got to kind of look at why. Some factors that could be part of it. And I think for tonight, that was part of it. Fast Kim says, where was Danis? Interesting question. I mean, I think guys like Sass got a lot of the minutes that he may have gotten. And because he's played well, I'm not really mad at it. It's just, got to look at the roster and the rotations and the lineups and kind of see what works best. So I'm not mad at Sass getting minutes at all because he earned them from last game. So
and I agree.
We'll get into him more later. Go ahead.
I also told you, especially because I think that Dennis is very good at offense and defense. He's someone that even I was like, whether it was for Duncan or even AT at times, I was like, these are minutes I'd rather put in guys that, because Sass did start in the first, like not start, but he did start to get in the game early.
Yes,
in the first quarter. So to me, then it's like when we need a spark. You can't really, that's not who I'm talking about to bring in because you've already brought him in. Like when we need a spark off the bench, when something's not working with the lineups we have, then that's when I would bring in, DJ, like Paul Reed did it. Yep. So I would bring up like a Danis. So I get it too, because there were times where I was just like, all right, I'd rather see Danis because Duncan's shots weren't falling. He had a couple great cuts to the rim, which were great, and the basket early. He made 1 of 5 threes, but like we have another 3-point shooter in Danis as well, who I think just outdoes Duncan a bit on defense. So I would have just preferred to see him in some minutes in the second half.
Yeah.
But again, what we complain about, you just never know. Because if he had only gotten 2 minutes, then maybe I would have complained about him wasting another game that he's eligible. So never know.
Yeah.
If Sass was the replacement, then Sass was a good call.
Yeah, for sure. I like what Camille says here. Then we'll get to the box score. She says, hi, Deuce and Sarah. What's going on, Camille? When the Pistons don't get offense, I think he means from defensive rebounds and steals, they really struggle. Yes. When the Pistons often get stuck in the half court yes, exactly. So that's the thing. Like the Heat really made the Pistons play in the half court tonight. Well, and I think that was a big thing because the Pistons couldn't get stops for a big portion of this game.
And I don't think Camille is referring to defensive rebounds. I think he's talking about offensive rebounds. That's something I know.
So? Okay. Let me see.
Miami had hella. I mean, offensive rebounds and steals. Yeah, it comes, but like they had. Let me see. We had 6 offensive rebounds total, and they had 15. They had over double offensive, and we had the same amount of defensive, and they were scoring. They were scoring off of there. So and I agree because usually we're a little bit more. That was my whole thing with Duren earlier too in the game. It's like usually we're a little more aggressive on the offensive rebounds. I think that we wouldn't even have hit 6. Yeah, Paul Reed had 2 of them. So I was gonna say he was probably a big contributor. He had a 4th of them. So I think that we didn't get those second chance scoring opportunities, and I think also some of that comes from trying to come back by forcing up threes that we shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, I also think the rotations are not set yet either.
Yeah,
they're still working through that because that's why we're still seeing different guys in different games and things like that. So I think as we get closer to spring, we'll start to see more and more of a set rotation, but they got to work through that.
Yeah.
All right, boss. So let's go ahead and get to some individual box scores. Let's start with C2 tonight. Cade Deuce Cunningham, guys. Tonight he had 31 points on 6 for 16 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3, 17 for 18 from the free throw line. So as much as we complained about him not getting a whistle, he definitely got one tonight because he was aggressive and they rewarded him for that.
Yes.
Also had 8 rebounds, 11 assists, 7 turnovers is high. We'll get to that as well. 2 steals, 2 blocks, so 4 stocks is good for him as well. And he played 39 minutes, and we'll get to that portion of it as well. But, boss, what did you see tonight from Cade?
Gosh, it's such a mixed bag because for him to get from 17 of 18, for him to get 18 free throw attempts, that has to be a career high. I want to check.
It's got to be up there.
But the fact that he had that and we lost, come on, guys, come on. And then, the 6 for 16, I don't necessarily love, but that also goes into his free throws a little bit. 11 assists is great. The turnovers were bad, though. Some of those lobs, a couple of them, because I even told you that after the first one that he didn't realize he didn't notice the help side defense coming over, didn't think about it. And I texted you, I was like, oh, he won't do that again. And he did. He did it again.
I know.
A few of those, I was like, Cade, what are we doing here? And
he's got a crazy high usage, man. Like,
right.
He's doing a lot for this team offensively.
Absolutely.
So, like,
and I'm not gonna, I'm just saying,
not to make excuses, but I'm just saying it is what it is. Go ahead.
Right. And you know me, I'm always pro optimism and pro the plus signs. And of course he delivered great for us, 31 points in the minutes that he was out there, almost a triple double with 8 rebounds,
right,
3 steals and 2 blocks. You know, he plays great defense and everything today, but just certain things just did not. And he had 7 defensive rebounds. Fouls.
So NBA.com gave him 3 steals and 2 blocks.
Yeah, 3 steals and
the box score. Okay.
Yeah,
ESPN has him at 2. Okay.
But no complaints about Cade Cunningham. He knocked away the ball under the basket, leading to a jump ball. He caused a turnover on Davion Mitchell. Like, did great things off of defense as well. And then just the turnovers were really costly for us tonight because a lot of them came at important times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mark Royal says Cade turned the ball over 2 times in a row and had a bad turnover trying to inbound the ball. I don't think that was him though on the inbound, unless I'm thinking of a different play. I think that was the one from Ausar. He may be talking about the end of the game.
Yeah, Ausar was the one, 2K.
2K, yeah. But I do think a big part of it too, boss, is as far as turnovers, we got to get him off ball more. We talked about that as far as maybe him shooting even a higher percentage if he gets more off ball. We mentioned last show, somebody mentioned that. So I do think we're going to try to get him off ball more too, which a guy like Sasser could help at times with that. So go ahead.
That was the first score of the game. We got him in the post.
Yeah, in the post. Had a little Davion Mitchell on. I thought that was going to be a theme for this game, actually, as far as trying to do, because that happened last game against the Heat.
I think what happens is that theme gets quickly erased when things aren't working. When things are working, they're like, okay, well, Cade can be trusted. Like, let's put Cade back in charge because we got to get back into it or whatever. So I think that's the only reason it didn't become a theme is because Miami had their leads at times that we needed Cade to be in control. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. What I saw from Cade too, like he didn't play his best game, like you mentioned. I thought it was pretty good overall. In the first half, he really kept us afloat.
Yeah.
Yeah, 17 first half points that led the team by far. And it was a struggle early in this game. But his usage, man, I know I said it already, but his usage is really high. The more you got the ball in your hands, the more you're going to turn it over. Now, he was careless with the basketball, and he can't be as careless as he was despite the usage, right? You still got to take care of the basketball. He has to get better with that for sure. Go ahead.
He had an inbound earlier to Sass. I think that was either the third or the fourth, I believe.
Okay. I think I vaguely remember that one. But I've always said, boss, anything over 35, 36 for him minutes wise is when he starts to get gassed. And I always say, whenever you see him playing defense with his hands and with silly fouls with his hands, swiping instead of moving his feet like he's in handcuffs, that's how you know he's getting tired because it's a lot harder to move your feet than it is to swipe with your hands, especially when you're tired. So I do think the 39 minutes for him is a bit high, and I would like to see Dennis Jenkins play more to get him an opportunity to be the point guard to set the offense up. Even with Sasser still playing, I still think it's still too many minutes for Cade.
Well, Caden's that's exactly because Sass did come in for Cade as the backup PG, but then in the second half, because Sass was also hot, they kept him in with Cade. So it's like that also works, but then who's your backup PG? It should be Dennis Jenkins. But I agree. We just talked about last game how Cade got a good rest.
Yeah, right.
And he just really wasn't able to get that tonight. And even in the end of the second, he came in for the last possession off the timeout because we just couldn't keep it. We couldn't keep it keep ahead. Or keep it close.
Right. Keep it close. Yeah. Exactly. So, I think that was some of the biggest things with Cade. I think mentally and physically, he was a little bit gassed, especially when they started double teaming again late in the game. So, we'll get to that too.
It's crazy to see Cade without viable options. I think the options are there, but now it's just figuring out again where they go. And like Tobias and Levert are hurt, and some people, they have their opinions about them. But that also just changes rotations, So it's just something that they have to, not only are we just trying to figure out our rotations with a fully healthy team, but then when 2 other guys go out, you have to consider that as well.
Yeah, and DMG said, this is what we talked about earlier, boss. He says, I don't know about Danis and Sass. I don't even mean together, because I agree. I think that's too small of backcourt. I just want to see Danis give more opportunity whenever Cade is not. So Cade doesn't have to play 35 minutes. If that means you have Danis with Jaden, okay, cool. But so I agree with that because I think that's kind of a small backcourt. But I do want to see Cade get off ball and just sit down more. So he's not playing so much. And that's kind of where I see Dennis Jenkins coming in. So,
I see that. But, there were times where I think that Dennis could have been beneficial on the court instead of Duncan. Like, I think that it was a small. We have the dog pound guys out there. When we have guys like Wu and Stu and Ron on the court, I think we're okay to go small for a few minutes, depending on the opposition. I can't tell you if it's tonight, but Danis and Sass already have a rapport since they grew up together. So it would be fun to see them, but it would have to be against certain
lineups.
We talked about it. We talked about the small backcourt. So against certain lineups, it could really, look nice.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, James says 100 watching and only 5 likes. Show some New Year love. Come on, show us some love. No, we're just playing. But yeah, that's all I got for Cade, boss. I just want to see those minutes get down a little bit. I think as the minutes decrease when they get into the 30s, you'll see those turnovers kind of drop as well. So I think those two things are kind of connected.
We have a couple days rest now. I don't think we play again until Sunday.
Yeah.
So now I have a couple days to. This is kind of I wish we had like a couple days since the last. Like I wish we played Miami tomorrow. So they had one more day of rest to adjust. Maybe now we have a couple days to really catch up and sink in and fall back into it. But like you, with this game, after the game that we played against the Lakers, I was really hoping they were going to carry that momentum into the new year.
Yeah, I was too.
Back. Again, there's no panic, but of course we're going to talk about what we did and didn't like tonight, which is no fun. I hate losing because I mostly hate coming on here and having to talk about it.
I know. I already know.
I'm so excited to talk to you guys when we win, but then when we lose, I'm like, oh, I just don't want to.
yeah, it's tough, but we gotta show up. We gotta show up and show out, and you guys do the same.
But it's
regardless.
Tough, just like you guys know too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's move on, boss, to Duncan Robinson. Tonight, guys, Duncan had 9 points on 3 for 7 overall, 1 of 5 from 3, 2 from the free throw line, 2 boards, 2 assists, 1 turnover in 20 minutes. Boss, take off.
Sorry. No, you said Duncan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I just want to make sure because I heard you listing off the stats. I missed the name for a second.
Yeah, D-Rob.
For him. He's blank. I was doing
interesting.
I just remembered. I was like, oh, well, I don't have to write down those layups. He had nice layup moves. It was good. He had a couple of forced threes, I feel like. I don't know. He just didn't do it for us. And the same thing, his minutes were, 20 minutes, that's perfect. If you're not producing for us, but you still are going to try to see if you can get hot, then 20 minutes is fine. Unfortunately, it just was an off shooting night for him. I hated seeing Simone. I mean, I love Simone. But I hated seeing Simone like drain his first 3 and to struggle a little bit to get there. But like I said in the broadcast, it's been beneficial for both groups. We definitely would choose Duncan over Simone, I think. For me, it was just an off night shooting for Duncan. I saw the effort when he was out there. He was getting up and down, all that stuff. But I just couldn't bring it overall.
Yes, Organic says opposing offenses are realizing that Duncan is food on defense. And that's what makes it tough, once again, guys, for a team that wants to hang their hat on the defensive end. I feel like at times, like I've always said, if his shot is not falling, then it's hard for him to really be impactful in a positive way on the court, right? And so again tonight, he shot 1 of 5 from 3, right? So it's just like if your shot's not always going to be there. So if it's not, how are you impacting? And once again, that's why you have no notes, because it's like his shot wasn't falling, and then defensively you don't really get much, and teams are trying to hunt him out. And when that happens, it really compromises your defense. So he started off great. I felt like he got off to a good start. He knocked down the 3 ball, and when they extended too far to him, he had a nice layup at the hoop. So, but after that, he didn't really give us much after that. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought that it was later on that he hit that, but no, you're right. I think I'm thinking of Sass, because Sass started off slow and then got hot.
Yeah, Dunk had his early.
Yeah, Dunk hit his early, and then he had those 2. Yeah. But again, what I like most about this is that he didn't go above 20 minutes, because that was our complaint in the past. Because if he's in and not hitting, then why is he in? So I'll leave it there. It was just not he's in a little bit of a slump these past 3 games. Duncan.
Yeah, I mean, shooting the ball, but I think defensively, it's always going to be something that you have to worry about.
Right.
And so that's kind of why I would like to have somebody else at that starting spot, so you can have that consistency defensively, just to get off to good starts, despite how you're shooting the basketball, and not have to be reliant on you being impactful if you're shooting the basketball well. DMG says, sadly, our best shooters are our worst defenders. That's an interesting thought. I don't think J.I. is one of our worst defenders, and I think he's one of our best shooters this year. But I think he's maybe referring to Tobias maybe in Duncan. Let us know who you're referring to. I think that's he's probably referring to.
Because that's what I point out on offense as well. And what's funny is like some of our best defenders can be great shooters, like Stu and like Stu.
Yeah.
You know, Stu and Rue, that rhymes. I didn't realize that.
Stu and Rue. Don't hate to put it in the game.
But I'm gonna put in your next song. But they are two guys that, you know, they almost had a little bit better 3-point shooting tonight than Duncan, but we rely on them because those are guys, you know, so it's just curious. And again, like I've talked about, like Wu and Danis and guys, those are definitely two-way players. Yep. So that's where it comes down to is like, I think I would have had more complaints if Duncan had 25 instead of 20 minutes. But I can't really complain about tonight because I think he was given plenty of opportunities to get hot on offense. He was going to be abused on defense, which he is, but he still puts in the effort. He still gets back. That's what I appreciate from him because you got guys like Luka who won't do that and still be good scorers. But
but Luka's giving you like buckets though, so it's a little bit different because at least he's giving you something. I mean,
we can talk about that any night, but at least you know. Imagine some Duncan Robinson effort from him. That's what JJ Redick should say to him. Is like
he'd be great then.
Robinson effort on defense and see what happens. You know?
He'd be great then. Yeah. But I will say I am ready to look at making a switch at that shooting guard spot, just so that way you have some consistency on the defensive side more so.
Maybe that will come. You know, last year THJ was a starter for us because of his 3-point shooting. And I feel like that's kind of what we were stuck in, but maybe that will come as, you know, Stu continues to start for Tobias.
Mm-hmm.
That move.
And I still want to see Jaden at that 2 spot. We got Stu in there now. We thought it might be a package deal as far as keeping the lineup balanced as far as the offense. Yeah. I want to see, so hopefully we get to see that as well. We'll get to that as well. But that's what I'm hoping to see. So we'll leave it there, boss, on Duncan, and we will go to guys. Ausar Thompson. I see a lot of Ausar Thompson comments in the chat, so we'll get to as many of those as possible. But guys, tonight Ausar finished with 12 points on 5 for 8 overall, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, which is solid for him. 2 boards, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, 2 blocks in 30 minutes, boss. What you got?
Look, I was ready to, you know, come in and like rip into AT a little bit because some of the stuff just didn't look good. But then the stat line, you know, proves a little bit otherwise. 12 points from him is great. 2 assists from him is I mean, with the turnovers kind of cancels out. The turnovers are just really bad. And I thought, you know, 5 from 8 isn't even that bad, but the misses were bad. Like the misses, you know, it's just something, it made me think of what Eric Vincent said a few shows ago about
shout out Eric.
When Ausar was just in the, like sometimes when he's in the paint, it's almost like, what do you do? Like sometimes his decision making takes a little bit too long. Like today we saw him catch it at the top and he like kind of went up for a 3, but then he took like 4 seconds to decide what he was going to do.
No confidence.
It gave the guys enough time to shift because if he had caught that and just dribbled in, he probably would have gotten the basket, but he kind of faked a 3 and then he's like, well, I don't know what to do. So I'll just dribble it in. It led to a turnover. And it's just, and so there's just little things there that I'm just, because again, he's just so up and down with me lately. Like he has like 3 games in a row of great games and then like 4 off games and then a couple good games and then 3 off games again. Like it's just too much up and down. But he had that really nice rejection on Simone, which led to the Ivy and Duren lob. That was my favorite play that he had tonight. And he got aggressive on the floor a little bit in the second half. But yeah, like you said, a little bit of low confidence. The decision-making was just too slow tonight for me. I think that was his biggest downfall.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I did notice too early in this game, guys. He found himself in JB's doghouse early. He only had 2 turnovers, but they were costly ones. First one was in the first quarter. It looked like he was trying to get an entry pass to Stu, and he just kind of tossed it over his head and turned it over. And then he didn't get back on D. He was lackadaisical off his own turnover, getting back on defense, and he allowed Bam to get behind him for a lob in transition. And JB quickly called timeout.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that was why. He did do a good job at times getting downhill and finishing. You guys all know I don't like to see him catching and creating. I like to see him catching and finishing. And he did have a nice play or two where he would do the swing through Euro and get to the hoop and get a finish.
Yes.
But I still don't want to see that consistently. I still would rather see him just trying to be a finisher. He has the athleticism at times to be able to get away with it, but more times than not, he's not scoring. It's either a miss or a turnover. And I just don't want to see that consistently. And you mentioned the shooting. It's becoming more and more of an issue now.
Yes.
Because the lack of perimeter shooting for him once again was glaring. Like they're letting him. They're like, please take that shot. They're giving him like 10 feet of space, and he has no confidence right now. Boston a 3-point shot. No. You probably saw it. It played in the second quarter where the ball found him top of the key, and he was wide open. Exactly. And instead of taking the shot in rhythm with confidence, he tried to barrel his way to the hoop, and he tried to go off glass and didn't even catch iron. Yep. So it's starting to become an issue, right? As far as where he's just not a threat at all from out there. And it's starting to become, for me, a little bit concerning, boss.
Well, and then for me, like, again, that was the example I used, and just the decision-making too, is because if you know you don't want to take a shot at the three, like Paul Reed came in and did it beautifully. He get at the top of the key, and we know he can shoot that, but he would immediately decide to dribble it in and give it up. But Ausar just hangs there for a minute. So that was my
it's just the confidence for me. Like if as much as you're working on it in practice, you gotta at least take it when it's there. Not saying force them, but if you're open, you gotta shoot it with confidence to at least try to keep the defense honest.
Or if you truly aren't ready for that, you can't take 4 seconds to decide. Then you dribble it in strong, because that's how the defense was able to rotate on him so fast. Like you dribble in strong, and then they let the defense collapse and kick it out. Or you know your next move in case they give it to you at the top of the key, because they're giving it to you for a reason, probably not to shoot it, but to keep the ball moving. Yeah. So for me, I think it was just, despite his box score, because it's not that bad, but despite it, like, I'm just, a lot of someone said in the comments, momentum killers, like a lot of the stuff that just kind of made me like, I feel like centered around Ausar tonight, unfortunately. Yeah. And so I'm just, and confidence has been something that's been a theme of his, and we've been talking about this whole season. And I told you, I got to see a man in person, and I've watched the Rockets. Like that kid just goes out and plays like he knows what he wants to do. And I feel like AT has moments, he has games, he has stretches where that's the case. Yeah. But then he gets in his head, and like you guys in the chat have even mentioned up, like you'd be like, he needs to get out of his head, especially if you're going to be a guy that, they're trying to run the offense through. And that's the thing. I don't think they should. Exactly. I don't think and I think maybe a big part of it too is because when they played with I forgot the name of it. Was it G League Ignite? I think was it what team they played with before they came in the NBA? I can't remember. But I think Amin was the point guard, and he was more so the wing. So I think Amin is just more comfortable with the ball in his hands and making plays and looking for his own offense. I think that's kind of the difference here. Let's get to some quick super chats. Before I do that real quick, the last thing I want to mention on Ausar was that big turnover down the stretch. What do you think? The inbound play was big for me. The turnover. Whoa. They were denying Kate the ball, and he just kind of threw it right to Davion Mitchell. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like, can't have that when you're down 4 points with 30 seconds to go, and you gotta put points on the board. That was a big turnover for me too. I'm just curious about, because I agree, because I think some of our guys tried to get open as well, but we had a timeout. Again, the decision making tonight just wasn't there. What do you think about this? Is it time to move into the second unit? Because you and I have briefly discussed it. We've discussed it not in determination, but we've discussed things about like Ron starting as a defense kind of thing. So to be fair, I want as many two-way players on this team and on the starting lineup as possible. Yeah. Right. That's why I was saying I want Duncan, even though I like what he brings, I would rather have him off the bench. Same with Tobias. I'd rather have him off the bench. Just guys where there's a big gap between the offensive and defensive ability. I'd rather see those guys not start. That's why I want to see a guy more so like Jaden start, right? A guy like Stu, who's shown improved offense to start, improved shooting to start. Yeah, I think it's something to talk about, because especially when you have a guy like Ron Holland, right, who has shown the ability to be able to play both sides of the basketball. He's not quite the defender that Ausar is. Last night, though. Yeah, he was against Luka for sure. So I won't say he's quite the defender. Maybe he's close. I think he's a lot closer than many may think. Yeah. But I think it's something to talk about, because at least he's gonna keep the defense more honest offensively. Like, they're not gonna leave him completely open and beg him to shoot the three ball, because he can shoot it with more confidence. What's going on, bro? Go back to that last comment. Rock never stops. What's going on, bro? So I think a lot of Ausar's struggles tonight was fatigue. Possibly. Maybe.
I don't know, because I feel like a lot of it was just bad decision making. He was just kind of out of control.
It's been a thing in the past couple of games for him.
Because even when he's pushing the basketball, like I feel like if he was fatigued, he wouldn't be trying to push as much. And he was pushing. Once on one play, he was like, he tried to do something at the rim, like got all turned around and like lost the ball.
Yeah.
And like it just looked awkward. It didn't look natural. So I don't know. I think it's a question, because when a lot of time Ron has come into the game and played very, very well. Right. And been a huge spark for the team. So I think Ron is the more balanced player. Same. On both sides. Right. I think he's a better offensive player. He's not quite the defender, but I think the gap is close in closing. I think the gap is wider on offense in favor of Ron. So I think it's worth having a conversation about for sure.
And I think that the closeness is just in terms of being young still and learning. Like we saw him make good decisions against Luka in the second half last game.
Agreed.
But I do trust, even though it was kind of the opposite last game, I still do trust Ausar's decision making on like not to reach in, not to do certain things over Ron, or like, they're not going to take advantage of Ausar as much as the offense might take advantage of Ron seeing him guard him. But that's the only, otherwise I think he's doing a great job. And again, it's just more about the energy and effort, which Ausar gets up and down, but you just really notice it with Ron lately too.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
for sure.
I wouldn't be mad. What I'll say is like, if suddenly Ron was starting in place of Ausar, I wouldn't be like, what is this?
Like, what's going on? Right, exactly.
Okay, so yeah.
Something to look at. I wouldn't be mad if they tried it. You know what I mean? Right, and that's kind of the key. It's like he's gonna make the defense. He's gonna keep the defense more honest, because he's not. Early last year, boss. One thing I was saying, like, because Ron really struggled from the 3-ball to start last season. There was games where he was really in the beginning stages of developing his jumper and improving it. And I would see stat lines of like, he would go 0 for 4, 0 for 5, but it wasn't 0 for 1. Like, it wasn't like he took one and then was like, I'm not shooting no more. Like, confidence has never been the problem. Even times where I'd be like, all right, Ron, that's enough. Pull back a little bit. You got to pull him back, even when he's not shooting, when he's not hitting them. So the confidence is never a factor. And I think that's the biggest difference, is just the confidence level. Because you see Ausar just doesn't have the confidence. Right, get out of between your ears. So I do think it's something that is worth having a conversation about. But we'll see. I think it's a good question.
I think someone needs to like punch Ausar in the face or something to get him angry.
Make it mad again.
Every time he gets angry or it turns personal, I feel like he's very intentional with his decisions.
I agree. Rod Never Stop says the Pistons as a whole tonight didn't have it. They got in late last, and we talked about that. Yeah, we just talked about that late last night after a long road trip against a team who had a 2-day break. That was a trap game, right? Yeah, they were rested. They were ready.
They're a team that we've always struggled with, no matter the talent. Even like no matter, like Tyler Hero tonight could have been a difference for them. We've played them with Tyler Hero when he's been off. Like they're like Atlanta and the Hawks for us. Hawks and the Bucks for us.
The Bucks,
It's just a game. But with Atlanta and Miami, at least it's usually split 50-50 on who takes the game. With the Bucks, it's just usually them. But they're one of those teams that we just have it's always a great matchup. And I do have to say, Miami is like leading the league in scoring right now. They have like over 9 games where they've scored 140 or more. So we did under I think their average is over 120. So we kept them under that at least.
And even last game, we won last time. We won 138, 135.
Yeah.
So even that was, to your point, that was a high scoring game as well. They have been kind of popping off with their offense lately.
And again, if you had 4 people averaging 16 points or more, that's beautiful. It reminds me, the Pistons in 04. We had a great defensive team, but you can rely on Tay, you can rely on Rashid, you can rely on
Chauncey and Rick,
and Lindsay.
And the bench.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Let's get to these super chats, Boston, and we'll keep it moving. West Lee Snipe says, tough loss to start the year, but Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, bro. Appreciate the super chat for sure, man. Yeah, it's just one game. We're not going to fret over one game, but it's just something that we do got to keep our eye on as far as just that consistent energy. But like The Rock Never Stops mentioned, this was a game that could be called a trap game because of a perfect storm as far as we're getting in. The team came in late. They were tired. They were fatigued. And the Heat weren't. So that's something to keep in mind. Fargon also says, appreciate you, says, the one benefit of Ausar's struggles is that he cannot demand a large contract. That may be the case. Like, you put your GM hat on, but I want to see these guys play well.
Exactly.
I want to see him play well. That's kind of my focus. Like, I feel like that stuff kind of work itself out over time, but I want to see him play well. Go ahead, boss.
Like the Thompson twins definitely don't come off to me as two guys that are worried about their contract and whether they'll play well or not play well, depending on it. Of course, these guys, they have their management, they want money, but those two twins, like they love to play.
Yeah,
they're in it for the game for sure.
For sure. So we'll see. I think like a lot of people, we talked about it, boss.
But I do agree with the struggles of that he can't,
I think a big part, like a lot of people, I think when we first got him and they saw like just the natural raw ability he had and just his ceiling because of how athletic he is, I think a lot of people like prematurely deemed him as a superstar in the making. And I think for him, in order to get to that level, a lot of things has to go right. Like he has to put a lot of things together. He has to, I'm not saying he can't. He has the ceiling. It's there. He has a lot of tools. And but it's like, can he put that stuff, can he put it all together to get to that point? And it's okay if he doesn't. I just think a lot of people kind of like gave him that title of being a superstar in the making because of the raw ability. It still has to be developed for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think it's just, he was a little bit behind because of his blood clot, but I can't make that excuse anymore because it's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
Seen these things from him that we know that he can hit because we've seen him do it. We've seen him have these really great defensive games that helps turn offense, whether it's him or his teammates. And we've seen him be confident on the court. So yeah. Like someone mentioned, it might be fatigue, it might be a few things, but overall, the box score wasn't terrible, but what we expect from just Ausar tonight, some of the mistakes he made were just in very crucial moments.
Yeah. So it wasn't a great game from him, but we'll just see how it progresses throughout the season, boss, and kind of go from there. But I definitely think he's all NBA defense level for sure. Yeah. No question. No question about it.
He still is disruptive, and nobody wants him on them. So
for sure, absolutely not. Yeah. So we'll keep it moving, boss. And let's go to Isaiah Stewart, guys. Isaiah Stewart had 6 points on 2 of 5 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 4 boards, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 5 blocks, 4 in I think the first quarter, which was insane. First half? Was the first half first quarter? Was the first half?
First half. There were 2
first half. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, 1 and 3.
In 30 minutes. So, boss, take off on what you saw from B Stu tonight.
Yeah, I mean, my notes are just block on Wiggins, block on Jovic, block on Wiggins, block on where?
That was crazy.
On the perimeter. Then he had another block. I didn't see who it was on. And then he had that crucial tap away at the end of the fourth to cut the that helped cut the deficit to 5.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we just couldn't build off of that. But he was kind of, for me, the opposite of Ausar in terms of he made the crucial plays in the right moments. We really needed him to just consistently, not big on rebounding, but that's because when he was under the rim, he was blocking, honestly.
Yeah.
The 2 for 5, he had some shots. Not terrible point-wise. 30 minutes, especially with Duren going down, expected. Yeah, I think overall a great game from Stu. I wish we could have gotten him going a little bit more offensively in the paint.
Agreed.
That goes to me complaining about some of the 3-point shots we should not have been taking just to try to cut the lead. Sometimes it's just we should just cut it in the paint. But 2 for 5 isn't terrible for him. But like coming off of a game that he was 100% on everything, it was just nuts. But yeah, I mean, not two turnovers. Interesting. Did everybody have a turnover tonight? Basically, yeah. Everyone that played had a turnover. That's crazy.
Yeah, it just wasn't a great game, man. Like it wasn't just one guy. It was a collective representation of fatigue, I think, in this game.
That's my least favorite stat of the year, that everyone that played turned it over.
Man, yeah, it doesn't happen too often for sure.
Yeah, but I would say Stu definitely made up for it in his blocks and his defense in crucial moments. But that's just, but if you could have got him going a little more offensively, but I mean, Stu doing Stu things. 5 blocks,
bro. Like that's insane. That's insane.
Ties his career. I was hoping he'd get one more to break it, but that will come in a win at least. Hopefully, a broken one. So
yeah. So we'll see. The Rock Never Stops coming back says, appreciate the super chat. Says Happy New Year, y'all. Happy New Year, bro. My New Year's gift is Marcus Sasser cementing his place in the rotation. He will be a constant game changer for us. He's gotten minutes in back-to-back games, and he has produced for us offensively. So I think that is something that we we'll definitely see more of. And we will get to that more when we get to him in the box score. So I appreciate that comment, bro. Stay tapped in. We will get to him for sure. As far as what I saw from Stewart, yeah, I think I would have liked to see him get involved more offensively.
Yeah.
But I felt like his presence on the defensive end was so important, and that's who we want to be. That I wasn't too mad at it. I think it was one of those deceiving games again, box score deceiving games again, where he doesn't score a ton of points, and we all say if you're not scoring and you're playing a lot of minutes, you have to at least be impacting positively on the other end.
Yes.
And he did that. Yep. I thought he did a really good job. But you mentioned the blocks. There were so many times where he wasn't blocking shots, but he was altering shots and making guys think twice about taking shots. And even when they would shoot him, Bam Adebayo struggled when Stu was guarding him.
Yeah.
A lot of his shots were bad misses because Stu was quick enough and he's strong enough to stay in front without. And early in this, most of Stu's fouls, guys, come from help.
Yeah.
When it's straight up, he's not really fouling guys. It's because he's trying to come over and help, and he's trying to block a shot, and nobody's there to back him up. And now he's got to try to defend two guys at one time. That's when most of his fouls happen. That's why he gets so annoyed when he plays great D and they get the offensive board, because he has to guard two guys at times. And when JD went down, I know even before, because JD didn't play his greatest game either. But we saw a lot of fouls with Stu when he was the only big in the game. Before they brought Paul Reed in, and he was him with maybe Javonte or Ron, no other true big in the game. That's when you see him getting a lot of his fouls, because he's got a lot on his plate defensively in those moments. Yeah.
And I think I would say that, I'd also argue, 2 of his 4 fouls were offensive screens.
They were. That's a good point. Good point.
Really, but that's, I've gotten so used to him being called for that. And I just haven't really noticed if it is because the guy he's screening for takes off too early, or if Stu is just, trying to get in front a little bit tougher. He is a big guy. Obviously, you don't want to run into Stu. So I think it's probably split. But I agree. And he had that one block on Wiggins, his second one on Wiggins. That was his third block total, second on Wiggins, that he wasn't even back in set. And he just happened to get up and but again, that's where if there was no one behind him. So if he had missed that block and Wiggins didn't score, I know that Jovic was under there. He needs the help.
Yes,
there.
Exactly.
Too. So I agree with you and that he just wants to stop the play and make that's when he'll foul and things. But other than his most defensive fouls are definitely in that. Otherwise, I would say fouls come from offensive screens.
When he's guarding you straight up, he doesn't get in foul trouble.
No.
You don't see that. You see a lot of forced bad misses. Bam Adebayo had some bad misses tonight when Stu was guarding him.
And I brought it up early. It was the first play that I appreciated about the 2 big lineup was that Duren was on Adebayo and he cut over to help double Powell, I believe. And it worked, and Powell gave it up, and he gave it up to Adebayo, who was wide open in the lane. But guess who was ready to defend him? Stu. And that was when Adebayo shot it right in front of the basket, but tried to shoot it over a potential Stu block, and it went off hard and came back. So that was the benefit of the 2 big lineup. But again, also just Stu's presence. And he, like you said, he doesn't necessarily have to block, but he makes guys have to shoot over him, which we've seen in a couple games. I think in the last game too, who was it? Was it Vanderbilt or someone shot a crazy high arcing shot to get it over Stu? So again, he's not a 7-footer, guys. So
I was going to get to that real quick. Fats Kim, one time for the Rock Never Stops. Make sure you guys go follow him or subscribe to him on YouTube. He's got great content on YouTube. The Rock Never Stops. Make sure you guys go check him out. He's always showing love here, and he knows his basketball. So make sure y'all go check my man out. At some point, we're going to have him on the show to talk Pistons with us. As far as Stu too, I thought he was really great in transition, getting back defensively. You mentioned how Duncan tried to. Stu did the same thing. It was so many times the Heat would try to run, sometimes off of makes, and they tried to get the ball ahead, and Stu will be the one sprinting back, knocking shots away. Right? He just was not allowing that to happen, and I thought that was really good to see. And the blocks came from everywhere, boss. It wasn't just him denying somebody trying to dunk on him. Like you mentioned him blocking Kel'el Ware from the perimeter. Kel'el Ware is 7 feet. And it's not easy to run out to him and block his shot when you're 6'8" without fouling. But that's what Stu does. He gets it done from everywhere defensively. That's why he's a true DPOY player, because he gets it done all over the course, not just in the paint. Like a guy like Mutombo, who was really good in the paint. He's more than that. He can get it. He's more of a Ben Wallace in the fact that he can guard in perimeter and block shots there and get steals there and also deny you in the paint. That's why I think he has the ability to win that award, because he gets it done everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, again, just like you said, what he didn't contribute on one end, he definitely made 4 up on the other. And I think,
Agreed.
Again, for me, some people mentioned the zone that they adapted in the second half, which leagues are picking up, or teams are picking up on the league that we struggle against. Just certain things just really kept us out of the paint, and I think that's the only reason he didn't go harder on offense, because we know that he was attacking at certain points. So
yeah, for sure. So we'll leave it there on Stu, guys. We will go to JD, who left this game early tonight, guys. JD had 12 points, 6 for 12 overall, 5 boards, 1 turnover, 1 steal in 18 minutes. Boss, what did you see from JD?
Yeah, I had no notes for him again, because he was just doing, what we expect him to do. Just obviously he went out with an ankle injury, so I'll only talk about what I saw before, but still, I just didn't see as much aggressiveness on offensive rebounds. But I don't know what JB was telling them. And JB could have been saying, just get back on D because these guys are fast. So don't worry about it if they miss. That might have not been a priority tonight. Who knows? Yeah. The 12 points was good. My favorite JD play was basically Sass lobbing it to him and him coming out of nowhere again. Sass lob it up, and I was like, was that a shot, or that's gonna be way off, and him finding it. So he was still at the rim presence for offense for sure. But otherwise, 1 foul that also isn't bad. Oh, this is what I didn't like for him tonight. The refs guys were clearly giving Miami Heat the whistle.
Man, they were,
and especially in the first. The minute that you Ron or Sasser or Cade, the minute they got touched, or they touched someone, they got the whistle, but Cade could bring it full court with the guy hanging on him, pulling on him. He doesn't get the whistle.
Yeah.
And again, we can blame it on the refs all we want, but even JJ Redick said this about the Lakers game, and he wasn't necessarily blaming the refs or the Pistons, but he was just blaming his team. And what I'm about to say about Duren is that some of Duren's shots in the second, he would look for the contact instead of being I want the basket here, let me just throw it up and hope for a whistle. And that's not how we can play. Because if Cade plays, we've seen Cade play that way very little, but usually, he'll just aim for the basket or he'll pass it. By that time, it was cemented that the refs weren't going to give us the easy whistle. And so that's when you need to make better decisions, JD. And if you can't get it in the basket, or you don't think you can get a shot off, then you need to push it out. You can't. And because before he would shoot it, and before it even touched the rim, he would have his arms up, immediately.
I agree. Yeah, and that's something we talk about. Also, is you can't play with reliance on the whistle. You got to play as if the whistle's not coming.
Yeah.
Right. We don't want to fall into the habit of guys who not foul bait, but I'm not saying he foul baits, but guys, they do foul bait in the league now, and they expect the call, and when they don't get it, it affects them. It was a few times, and JD has gotten better with it. I saw a lot last year and a little bit early this year where he wouldn't get the foul call, and he would just throw his hands up and not get back on defense. And that happened tonight a few times. And he was getting hacked. He was getting most games. He's not getting a fair whistle in the paint, for being honest. Guys are always hanging on him, right?
We're used to it, though.
Despite that, you exactly, Devon. You can't allow it to affect your transition defense. And so many times you saw Bam Adebayo, when that would happen, beat him down the floor. Routinely beating him down the floor. Off the miss, JD's like this, Bam's like this. And then when JD realizes now he's trying to catch up, and now somebody has to rotate over for him, and it's probably going to be a guy not big enough, and now you got all these it just puts so much pressure on your defense when he doesn't sprint back down the court. So he's getting fouled, but I mean, it's not going to change just because you're complaining about it and you're throwing your hands up. You got to keep playing. You got to play through it and get back on defense. So that was the biggest thing I think I saw with him tonight, as far as just staying locked in on that end.
It's the Detroit versus everybody is a model for a reason, and it's what we use. So if you're going to adapt that, then you have to understand that has to be in your head. No, you can't be complaining. If it's Detroit versus everybody, then you're aware of that, and you're still making smart decisions, and you're not trying to rely on, like people say, put the onus on the ref. Put the onus on the ref to call it, but you still got to make good shots. You still got to do good things, because you can't mind read them. You don't know if they're going to call it or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's no foul and they call it. I'm all for it. I'm all for that. If both teams challenge twice and win all of their challenges, investigate.
Right.
That means that the refs are getting it wrong. But I just did not like that from him tonight. It was just too much complaining, and I think it's valid when we aren't getting the calls, but then this has always been the story with us.
It's what we always say too. Let coach do that.
Exactly.
Like let JB get on him. And it's not like he doesn't. Like he's willing to. He does it every game. You know what I mean? So let him worry about that, and you just focus on the game. I think that's one of the great things about Coach is that he tries to allow you to focus on just the game, and then dead ball. He's talking to him. You know, so that's the only thing with JD. I hope he's okay more than anything. Hope he's not sidelined for a few weeks. Because we just got a taste of the two big lineup with Stu. As soon as Stu comes to the game, JD gets hurt. It's just very unfortunate. So I hope that he's not out long so we can get a bigger sample size of what that looks like.
Yeah, I agree. And I hope he's not out long, but at least, we'll get to him. We can fully rely on B-Ball Paul to take over that role.
Right.
Which we'll get to. We should have seen him earlier. If you're going to run this too big lineup, you can't run the too big and then stack them. No, you got to run the too big and then let a third big come in to help out so that you are resting,
Yeah, I feel like whoever sits down first between Stu and JD, just let B-Ball Paul come. Like I think he should get all the minutes that those guys don't have. Personally, I think he's good enough, and I think he just kind of continues what he's an extension of what we want to do when he comes to the game. Yeah, and he's totally getting tonight, which we'll get to later.
Yes.
But that's all I got for JD. Let's go ahead, guys, and let me get to the super chat first before I forget. I want to get DMG back in here. DMG says Kate needs help, and time's running out to find it in house. January is going to be the true test for this roster. Let's see what the guys are made of. We're going to get into a thick part of the schedule here, guys. We've been playing some teams who are pretty decent, but I think this month we're going to play some tougher games. We're going to be at home more, right? We got a homestand coming up, but we're going to have some tough opponents coming in. So I think Trajan and JB are going to use this time to really evaluate what we have because, like we all say, the deadline is, I think, February 5th of next month. So if they are going to make a move, this is going to be the time to figure out if they need to do that. Just kind of seeing what they have. And that's another reason I hope JD is healthy because we really want to see how these guys look when they're whole to be able to evaluate and see what you need. So, yeah, it's going to be an important time, DMG. So we'll see how it plays out over the next month or so.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I agree. January will be a test for a lot of teams. For a lot of teams,
I agree, for sure. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go to the bench. Let's start with Jaden Ivey tonight, boss. Tonight, J.I. had 2 points. Very quiet night from J.I. offensively. 1 of 4 overall, 0-2 from 3, so he did not shoot the ball well tonight. 1 board, 3 assists, 1 turnover in 21 minutes, boss. What did you see tonight from J.I.?
Yeah, just another guy I didn't really have notes on, and just couldn't contribute when he was out there. 21 minutes isn't that bad. It's comparable to Dunk's minutes, but, he had more scoring than Ivy. I'd say Ivy had pretty good defense. He had no fouls. I think he did well on that end, but nothing like, in terms of stocks and stuff. Not a great shooting night, but for me, we've just been so excited about Ivy based on his trajectory and how he's been playing the last 3-4 games, especially the last 2. So I was, wanted a big night from him tonight. We didn't get it, but again, some things were just a little bit off with the team. So I'm in no rush to jump to conclusions about Ivy having a bad game after having two really good ones. But of course, I just wish he had it a little more. Also, 1 of 4, not great, but 4 attempts in itself isn't great for a guy that we need to be our second, or not need, but who we've been wanting to be.
Who we're looking to be,
be our second off. So he needs more attempts on that end.
Yeah,
overall. So he just wasn't getting them. I think for 3 assists, so he was dishing it out at least. That's the most assists behind Cade, which is crazy.
I do like that he is getting more minutes.
Yeah.
Finally, he was anytime he's in the 20s, I think that's good. Like he definitely needs more minutes and shots. I want to see more action ran for him, more actions offensively, more plays ran for him.
Tonight he created his own. He took it full court for that layup. That was his only basket.
Yeah, that was it.
I agree. They need to find him more there, or when he's on the court, make him the ball handler to help Cade. Like one of them has to be, because it wasn't if he had scored more, then it would be a more clear picture of the Cade and Ivy connection is there. But that wasn't it tonight.
Yeah, he's got to be more aggressive for me. Like I need more than 4 shots. Bro, I need him to be more aggressive. If he's gonna be that guy, and I think he can be that secondary guy, he's got to be more aggressive, man. Just Devon, just looking for his offense. Just like the way Sass is coming in, looking for his offense, looking to get guys involved. And I know they're bringing him along slowly, but I think at this point he has enough rope now to start really. And even if it means he makes mistakes here and there,
Yeah.
I don't care. Like just look to be aggressive, look to get downhill, look to get guys involved, and look to take pressure off Cade. That's the biggest thing for me. So I want to see him be more aggressive as we go forward for sure.
Sasser's first 3 was an air ball. You know? So, but then he made up for it. So that's the whole point about being aggressive and trusting in yourself and still putting up shots. Like if Ivy threw an air ball, okay, but then, you know, he would make up for it. Just get him going. Just like you said, just take those shots, be aggressive. And I don't think the coming on slow is valid anymore. Now we've had multiple games.
Yeah.
He played over 20 minutes.
Agreed.
Tonight he didn't play more only because of his lack of offense. And so now I think it's like, no, Ivy's back and he's here. So now it's just time for him to feel comfortable, which is something that I felt from him. So that's just another sign to me that something was off tonight with multiple guys not feeling in rhythm and not feeling comfortable.
Right. No, I agree. I think like, because we were praising when he first started playing, we were praising his ability to be able to fit in with this team. We were praising that, how he wasn't trying to take things into his hands too often, taking bad shots, not, just trying to play one-on-one ball. Like we were praising the fact that he was just trying to fit in. So now we just need him to try to fit out a little bit more. And it's that balancing act we talked about, boss, as far as like, we can't be, upset with him last year in previous years for feeling like he wasn't being a team player. And then when he is being a team player, now he's not doing enough and looking for it. Like you gotta give time for the adjustment if you're going to ask for that to happen. So that's why I'm not in much of a rush. I won't say rush, but I'm not panicking as far as tonight because he has looked good since he's been back overall.
And I'll say that he has looked his most confident when we're ahead, when we're looking good, when we're looking confident. So to come in and have to clean up like a 20-point deficit, like I think for him, it's that same mindset that we talked about early on. Like, I don't think he's taking these shots because he doesn't want to hurt the team. So now it's like maybe he doesn't, gets in those deficits and doesn't want to hurt the team. So
even more.
His wrist. Right. I think he's going to snap out of that and be like, no, Ivy, like, we trust you. Like, go find your shot, go find your rhythm. Because these other guys out here who aren't, putting up great, like, Duncan was still trusting his shot, even though he was off. Like, like we are willing to do that. And JB, we've seen him tell the guys that was the right thing to do. That was okay. It's fine. Keep shooting. Like we've seen him do that. So I don't think JB would object to Ivy trying to put up a couple shots to get hot.
Right. That's exactly. Just don't. Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest thing. And quick comments here. I'm going to put a post and then a response. Jay says, y'all giving up on Ivy too soon. It's reminding me of people saying trade Duren last year. Yeah. Now we were one of the few that was like, this is why you don't trade a guy this quickly.
That are in the Ivy
but
boat, though.
Ethan had a good response and said, nobody is giving up on Ivy here. That was high on him. Right. We're just asking him to step it up. That's literally it. 100%. So I think both of you guys are right. Go ahead, boss.
And I've been on this show a short amount of times, and I appreciate the guys that have been here through it all with the chat. But I've seen us be called out for in a good game not calling guys out for their flaws, even if we win, and now in a bad game calling guys out for their flaws.
Yeah, knee jerk. Yeah,
it's just about like it's hard for me. You guys know me now. By now, it's hard for me to like point out flaws because I just like want to be like, but I still believe in you. I still love you guys. And you did all this great. But at this point in the season, it's like, yeah, we're not halfway through, but we're almost halfway through. And this has to be the turning point, kind of like it was for us a little bit last year. So, but we're going to get there. And none of this, all these observations, of course, come with caveats. So I'm not saying I will never be someone to be like, trade them away.
Yeah.
But like you said, Deuce, is like, I'm not panicking about Ivy. We just know that Ivy, we just know his game well enough from seeing it over the years.
Yep.
He's not feeling his full confidence self versus when he is.
And this is what I think too. I think he's just trying to readjust his game after the injury. Right. So I know some of you guys are like, it's time to move on. He's had no time or he's not whatever. Fine. Mm-hmm. You feel how you want and it's totally fair. I'm not doing that yet. I don't think it's time to do that yet. I still think it's way too early for that. And I think it would have been a mistake last year to let JD go for a guy like Nick Claxton or Vucevic, like a lot of guys wanted.
Oh my God.
when he wasn't playing well. And this is when he was averaging like 9 points a game and shooting 58% from the free throw line and not engaged offensively, showing flashes here and there, a 2020 game and then a 9-5 game, right? So it was just very inconsistent. That's another reason why I'm not really panicking when J.I. has a bad game. How many bad games has he had so far?
That's
in limited minutes. So it's like
last pod. You guys can go watch it. Go watch it if you didn't when we won against the Lakers. If you want
Lakers.
to win. I literally said it's been nice to talk about Ivy because he hasn't had these great games and had a little bit of a slump. And okay, so here's a little bit of a slump. And you know what? I'm gonna hate it. Maybe
right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll just watch. We're getting closer and closer to the All-Star break and things like that. So this is an important stretch for these guys individually and for this team. So we're gonna have an eye on that for sure. Let's get to some super chats, boss. We got Fats Kim. He's been posting this. I think you've seen him post this like a few times. So I want to get to him. Says, why JB not playing Dennis? That was my question, man. You know, like I think he's once again trying to search and find that sweet spot as far as a rotation. We've got a lot of guys who are capable. We just saw what Marcus Sasser did last game, right? He was a big part of why we really put that game away in the second half, right? So I think he wanted to reward him. And once again, I think I actually I'm okay with it, not with Dana's getting a bunch of DMPs, but I'm okay with giving guys like JB is doing, giving guys a 2 or 3 game stretch with heavier minutes and just let them go. Let them get into a flow during those games to see how they look over that time as opposed to giving everybody 10 minutes. Because it's hard to get in the flow. Yeah, you're playing everybody, great, but you're not really solving for anything because you're not allowing them to play in a situation to where they can help you with playing extended minutes. So if you got to give a few guys DMPs, and it means you're evaluating other guys and giving them a fair shot in the minutes they're getting, I'm okay with that. Yeah. So I want to see maybe how Sasser looks now. And if you like what you see, okay, you go from there. If you don't, then you let Dennis go for 3 or 4 games and let him get 20 minutes a game and see how he looks. That for me is a fair evaluation as opposed to just giving everybody 10 minutes and just say you played them.
And the preseason, everybody was so high on Sass, talking about how much Sass has come, how much his development has come. So I think he's finally hit that healthy point where Dennis was more, you know, a surprise to some people that haven't been following him, haven't known him. Like he was just more, he was unexpected in our season, and we've had Sass and we've been wanting to give Sass the moment. So I think that right now, especially like, you know, after the last game, you'd almost be frustrated if Sass didn't play today. So now it's kind of like, you know, let's see how long we can ride the Sass wave. Like kind of like me in fantasy football when I rode the Gadsden wave and then it dropped off. Hopefully Sass's wave doesn't drop off. And then Danis will get some time as well. I think they're just trying to figure things out because like last game they played 10 guys in the first. That's crazy. Yeah, you
highlighted that too. So it's like I'd rather see a tighter rotation if it means guys don't play certain games, just so you can see how that rotation looks with extended minutes. So we'll see how it looks. Maybe coach is learning things by not playing guys. Maybe this is all part of the process of figuring out the rotation. It's going to be mistakes and stuff along the way. Go ahead.
It would be more frustrating if it was the second half of the season. Like we're still in. Right. I was just saying, like, I get a little tough on these guys, but then, you know, you guys know that I live in Denver, so I see the Nuggets and knowing Jokic is out for January, but I'm like, oh, but it's only just for January. That's not even a determinate amount of time for the season. Like and so I have to remind myself of that too. Like right now, the experimenting might be frustrating and a little bit confusing, but I'm glad that it's happening now because we still have time to do it. There is going to be a time where the experimenting will die off because we won't be consistent, but we still have time to do it. So that's cool.
100%. Got to get to some more super chats, boss, and we'll keep it going. Got one from Emperor Yori, always showing love, man. We appreciate the super chat for sure. It's going to be something that is really appreciated from the Ron Holland Foundation for sure. So we appreciate you as always, man. You've been supporting for a minute. We appreciate it. Says, guys, support the cause. You two are the best. Happy New Year. Hey, you the best. We appreciate it, man. We're going to continue to do the best that we can here. Happy New Year to you, Emperor. If you have anything else you want to say, make sure you drop in the chat, put it in caps so we can see it. We appreciate your donation, man, for sure.
Yeah.
And then also we had another one from Fats Kim coming back around, says, but Dennis is our future point guard. JB, that could very well be the case. I'm not mad with him giving guys a chance.
Yeah.
Giving guys an opportunity and not just letting guys just sit in your bench, which is what I was kind of concerned about with Sass. It's like he's all his talent just kind of sitting on the bench. Let's see what we got. So I'm not mad at this right now.
And we'll talk about it later on, but we talked about it being like he came in behind Cade as the point guard today. Like he checked Cade out, and then we saw him later on with Cade as a guard when he was hot and we needed some more offense too. So I think Sass is kind of who they were hoping for, or looking to fill that position in the role. But I know that he can also, you know, play shooting guard because that's what he's played for us for the past few years as well. So Dana, and again, but it's just about fitting them in and where, because if Danis and Sasser is too small, then when did they get time? If they're
Right.
all, so it's just that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
like we've talked about, not worried about it. Danis had plenty. He had a lot of games earlier this season where he had a lot of minutes and he showed out. And now that's kind of his turn, and it's just to figure things out.
Yeah. It's tough. We got a lot of guards. You know, a lot of guards who are capable. So we'll see. Sean says, "Where's Tom? Things always go well when he's here and bad when he's not here. Tom, where you at? Where he at though? Hey. All right, let's keep it going. Guys, let's go to. Let's see where we at. Where we at, boss? Let's go to Ron Holland. Let's go, Ron.
Okay.
So tonight, guys, Ron Holland finished with 2 points, 1 for 7 shooting, 0-2 from 3. He also had a bad shooting night. 5 boards, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 1 steal in 18 minutes, boss. What did you see from Lil Ron Dalpon Jr.?
That's crazy. Like his one basket was that like crazy one where like went in.
Yo, my goodness.
Fouled on it. That was that was a 24-second buzzer beater layup.
Yep.
They put it to 12, so it was important. The 5 rebounds was huge. Again, that's tied to the second with Duren. Like the box score doesn't really match what I saw from him. He had the steal, just like the bad shooting. Yeah, really bad shooting. 1 of 7.
Yep.
But
yeah, he didn't. A lot of guys just couldn't get it going, boss.
Yeah, but I mean, defensively,
yes,
he was a dog. You know,
as always,
he did his stuff. Like again, 2 offensive, 3 defensive. I love a split like that. A couple turnovers on offense, but again, when we're all bad on offense because something's off. And again, we didn't get a lot of fast break, we didn't get a lot of transition as we usually do. And when we did, you know, it usually worked out, but it was just far and few between. I would feel like we go on stretches of it, and then it was half court again. I feel like that's where. I mean, Ron thrives. That's like when I was talking about Tobias maybe being better earlier, because I think Tobias is much better at half court offense.
Agreed.
Did it way earlier, but they were running. What would Tobias do to help us? Well, they were stopping our transition offense. So Tobias would have been better in the half court offense for us.
However, though, you're right. But however, I feel like if we brought the defensive intensity that we should have brought, we would have gotten in transition more.
Absolutely.
So it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Also, they had a good shooting night. I'm just curious, just while you bring that up. They shot. I mean, we shot 47% and they shot 43%. So maybe I'm just.
Wow. Really? Overall?
Yeah. But it was the 3-pointers. They made 14. They were 35% at 3, but they made 14 of them.
Okay.
We were 30.
We made 9.
We made 9. So it was just a couple. But I mean, that's still not that big of a difference. I don't know. So maybe you're right. Maybe the defense. I just felt like when we had good defense, they executed their offense.
They did. You know, you're right. Even in the half court, because they ran a lot. Even in the half court, we were trying to make a little run. Yaquez would knock it down the shot. You would see, you know, Powell knocking down the shot. Yeah, like it was tough. It was just tough.
That was mostly, I think, the difference in the game, and both teams had them. But I think. Again, we drew it within 6 towards the end. Like we made it close at time. We came back, but I think that was the biggest difference. But anyways, I agree with you still, of course, if our defense was better. But anyways, with going with Ron, I wasn't necessarily mad at his game tonight because he played lower minutes, 17.5. That's expected. I think he did great on defense. He caused some disruptions. Some of his fouls too. He had 2 fouls. I think both of them were pretty ticky-tacky.
I agree.
At least one of them was the one on Powell when he first checked in. I think we were both on Powell, actually.
Yeah,
But just perimeter ones. But, yeah, we just, if he's going to be out there, just contribute a little bit more on offense. But he did his best. A couple of those misses, I'm sure, were at the rim and just no foul call. But he doesn't look for it. Like when he goes to the rim, he looks to score.
That's the thing too. I do want to see him. And somebody mentioned this as well. As far as with Ron, I think that's one thing he can improve on. Is just not being so tunnel vision. I just highlighted how last game he's great when he's passing the ball, right?
He's making good decisions lately.
He's right, but a few times, and this is on his teammates as well. But on the break, you gotta let somebody know if somebody's behind you. A few times he was trying to run the break, and it wasn't just him. Sass too on the break, getting plucked from behind. Like you gotta let you guys know.
Bad communication tonight.
Yes,
Cade's weird lobs where it helps side.
Yeah. I agree.
Back, yeah.
I agree. So it just was one of those nights, man. It just, I feel like they kind of gave their last boost of energy in that Lakers game because they had it last game, and it seemed like this game they just came out flat.
Yeah,
came out flat tonight.
Again, the time change, coming back from the West Coast, not having practice, not an excuse, but could be an explanation.
Not an excuse. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that, boss.
You
Okay.
can't just tell people like, oh, but you're an NBA player, you should be able to fight through it, because they know that. But these things matter.
You're not robots.
Affect things,
Yeah.
You can talk to any NBA player and they'll tell you how hard it is to play in Denver altitude. Sometimes, they fight through it. Is it easy though? No.
Right.
So it's just so many things. They're gonna try their best, but these things are factors.
I think this is true too. Somebody mentioned it earlier. As far as I thought it was a good comment. It's a fair comment. Mark Glenn says, I will say though, getting out and running is cool and we're great at it, but we got to start being better at half court because playoff time games slow down a lot. So you got to be more polished come playoff time. I think that is 100% accurate. So, however, I still do think the calling card, though, is still going to be getting out in transition and running as much as you can. So I think two things can be true. Like you want to focus on that and be as good as you can at that. Mm-hmm. You can work on your half court offense. That can definitely improve. I think that is a fair point. And I do think they are going to need to work on that between now and playoff time because the game does slow down. But that doesn't mean you change how you play. You still want to make sure you're locking down defensively and then trying to get out and run because their team is built for that. They're a young team. They're athletic. That's what they want to do more than anything. So I think two things can be true, boss.
I think that the way we play now will actually be beneficial in the playoffs because they kind of lay off the whistle. I think the whistle kills our fast breaks. That's true. I was thinking about that last time. It's like, teams have now have stopped us from some half court or stopped us from fast breaks. So we are forced to play half court offense. We should be able to run plays. We should be able to run things.
Yep.
That to benefit us for a half court offense because we're going to have these games where we hit these walls. Just like tonight, I think the other one was at the Clippers where we weren't running at all. They kept us on half court and we just couldn't get it going. So I completely agree that yes, our identity is transition offense, but we need to be able to adjust and adapt in case that's not happening. I don't want it to be where I'm suddenly like, oh, well, let's see if we can create something because we had to bring it up from out of bounds, that's like silly. Because again, Miami's an offense, our transition offense also is just reliant on obviously our defense, but they're a very good offensive scoring team. So they're going to get baskets. And so just like the Celtics, just like OKC, like these guys are going to get baskets. So we have to be able to make plays in the half court. I think that should be, I like that comment a lot because I think that is honestly one of our biggest weaknesses is being able to play both ways, half court and transition. And
that could be a personnel thing, right? That could be a personnel thing as far as just having that balance between, because you don't want to be fully reliant on anything. Right. You want to have multiple ways to play because that's like if you play one style and you get a bad matchup in the playoffs, you might not win. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to play multiple ways. So it may be a personnel thing, maybe two. And maybe that's something Trajan has to address, which is maybe why we're trying different lineups to see who can combat that and who plays better in the half court offense. Maybe that's why you see a guy like Marcus Sasser a little bit more right now. Right. So
argument for Tobias off the bench because I still think Tobias, he has been our second leading scorer in many games this season.
Thanks.
Him, Duren, and Cade are like the three that score the best. So, but his is better in because when he gets in transition, he just throws terrible lobs. So in half court, he sets it up, he backs it down. So I think he's someone that you could help build a half court offense around or help teach guys how to, he's a perfect vet to help teach these young guys how to act in offensively. Don't come for his defense because that's not what I'm talking about. Offensively in the half court. So.
Yeah, I got you. And who knows? It may be a game or two in the playoffs where Tobias wins just a game that's close because of his ability when the game slows down to be able to just go get buckets when we need it. So you never know.
16+ scorer for us. We were just talking about Miami's 4 guys with 16+. We have 3. I would say 3. I would say Cade, Duren, and Tobias can all get 15+ in a game. But
yeah, for sure.
But you want it just a little bit more. But the Duren ones usually come from Cade usage in his assists. So you just want where you take off of some usage, some pressure. And there. So.
I agree. So I think you guys make good points.
Yes.
And they're all going to be things we're watching over this next month to see how these things play out for sure. Yeah. So let's keep it moving, guys. Boss, let's move on to Savage Wu. Javonte Green tonight, guys. Javonte Green tonight finished with 11 points on 4-7 shooting, 1 or 2 from 3, 2 from the free throw line, 3 boards, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and 1 steal in 26 minutes, boss. What did you see from Woo tonight?
Yeah, one of our better players. Just great defense. Again, only 2 personal fouls. He had one right when he came in, and I don't know when the second one happened, but I think he played really well. He had that big 3. He had that. His assist was that nice find B-ball.
Yeah.
11 points is just great. He got, cleanup crew again tonight, rebounds. Again, his defense is always reliable. 4 from 7. That's, one of the higher percentages we had tonight. So It was a great game for Woo overall. I just think some things, he could have had an even better game if the flow was different, but he goes out there and gets it done. And 26 minutes is exactly where I want to see him. And tonight, 26 minutes tonight was great. And I think he can even, do better in that amount of time in other
I do too.
But tonight he held it down. It was a very, again, consistent game from Woo.
Yeah, solid game, right? He's a great connector. He's a guy who's not really going to hurt you on the basketball court, like we always talk about. Mr. Chess Ready says, Chess Ready said, Mr. What you need, coach. He always says that, right?
Yeah.
He likes to do things that this team likes to do, right? As far as pushing the pace. He's another guy, boss. We talk about who can grab and go, who can board and push. The Rock says, Never Stop says, Javonte was the first sub off the bench tonight before Ivy and Ron. What should we make of this? I mean, I think what we make of it is that he's a guy you can trust.
Yeah.
He's a guy you can trust. How many times have we said it? We said it, boss. How many times do we see him come to the game? You're like, come on, bro, what you doing?
Yes. And it's defense. It's defense. And I think that's why, because he came in, because I noticed it too. I texted this to you too. So thank you for bringing it up there, because we talked about it a little bit. He came in for JD. He didn't come in for a star. Like he came in for another big.
Yeah.
Like, he came in for defense, because
exactly.
We were playing okay at that point. It was the first sub. We weren't down by anything or whatever, but it wasn't an offensive guy that we threw in. He could have thrown in Ivy right away. He could have threw in some guys right away, but he chose to stick with the defensive intensity of Woo.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we're built, right? That's where it starts. So I thought he did a great job of just kind of putting us in a good position to be able to do what we want to do, right? And even though we were able to get on transition a lot, whenever he got the rebound, he was trying to push. He got fouled on one play where he pushed, he went coast to coast and went to the rim. They didn't call anything. I'm like, what in the world is going on?
I swear the refs are just like, hey, don't let Detroit touch people, but if they get touched, just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, swallow the whistle.
Until the fourth,
crazy.
Try to let them back in,
Crazy, man. He had a nice dunk on Khalil Ware. Nice poster on Khalil Ware. Nice. He had a big 3 late in this game too. Like that angle 3. That's his shot. That's his shot, and he knocked it down again. So yeah, it wasn't as like it's a lot of times where he plays the same way and it shows up in a much bigger way in the stat sheet. It just didn't show up as much tonight on the stat sheet, but he was really good as far as just being handsy, getting his hands on balls and passing lanes again, and just encouraging how he want to play. He's never a guy who's going to hurt you on the basketball court. So I like what I saw. He plays a lot bigger than he is too. I think he's like 6'5", 6'6".
Right.
He plays like he's 6'8" sometimes. Like he plays a lot bigger than his size. That's just the toughness part too.
I think it was him that missed the layup at the end of the game, but he was crucial in getting us back into that run anyway. So just again, kind of like how I said about who was it? Was it Stu? Yeah, him and Stu, like an opposite of kind of Ausar and Duncan. Like they made the plays that they made were the right plays at crucial moments.
Yeah.
They're the wrong ones. So.
Agreed. Yeah. So I'm seldom where I'm like, man, he didn't play well. Like it hasn't been too many games where I'm like, yeah, he didn't have a good game. And this is another one where I thought he definitely helped us for sure.
This is a great stat line if we won too, like we have to look at too, because it wasn't, one person that took us out of this game. So this would be fantastic in a dub as well.
100%, boss. We'll leave Durham Savage Woo, and we will go to B-Ball Paul tonight, guys. Paul Reed had 9 points, 4-4, perfect shooting. Missed 1 or 2 free throws, 1 or 2 from the free throw line. 7 boards, so 9 points, 7 boards, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 2 steals in 12 minutes, boss. Talk about efficiency. Take off on B-Ball Paul.
He had 2 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, and a steal in 2 minutes of play. Okay, like that's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He gives it up. He would be my player of the game tonight for sure. I mean, you talked about how plus minus doesn't matter, but he had the most at 13. He had that super tough layup that he
Yeah.
definitely like it just nuts. And even Kelser mentioned it, like he's kind of a big awkward guy, but his footwork is good.
It is.
He had that knockaway that led to a turnover. He had the amazing tap in from the Sass miss that, like, and then
that was nice.
Cut the deficit to 9. I just want to say 2 of his plays led to Miami timeouts. The knockaway that led to the turnover led to a timeout, and then the amazing tap in from Sass led to a timeout as well. So I just like that.
You're right. Like, he came into the game again. It was impactful. Go ahead.
Yeah, he didn't have. I don't think they recorded it as a block, did they? No, they didn't record it as a block on Hawkins, but he definitely deflected it.
Yeah.
And bothered him, which led to a turnover as well. And then I just love when he made that layup, Greg Kelser just goes, I love Paul Reed. Because that's exactly how I would talk. He just goes, I just absolutely love Paul Reed.
Yeah.
But until you know him and you have him on your team and you see what he can do, you won't understand. I'm just curious. I want to know. I need some Sixers. Where's who was it? There was a Sixers.
I forgot her name. Yeah.
Yeah, but I need you back to talk about how you guys felt about Paul Reed, or if you even saw what we see in Paul Reed.
Right.
Because every time he just goes out there and, he split his free throws, but, like that one time he missed 2 important free throws, he was on himself. He's just trying to get better every day. I appreciate that so much from him. And he was my favorite person. Him and Sass are my 2 favorite players on the court tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good take too, for sure. Some of these comments are hilarious, by the way. Organic says, I'm not gonna make that 6'7" joke. I have 2 nephews and they always make that joke. I'm like, I'm so tired of that joke. I love them. I'm like, we gotta start the 6'7" joke. Shout out to little Kevin and little Caleb. But man, they always doing a 6'7" thing. Like, bro.
I was gonna put it up, but I was like, I'm not even gonna acknowledge it.
That's all I'm gonna say about it. You're gonna leave it there. Because I was like, I'm not doing that at all.
Yeah.
That's for the YNs for sure. So yeah, again, we're not doing that tonight. It's all good. But on a quick separate note, 313 is silly says, Justin St. Brown has committed his life to podcasting and will retire. That's hilarious.
Did you see his interview with Etienne Jr.?
No, I didn't.
Go watch it. It's pretty funny.
Okay, I'll check it out. And then I'll report back after I've watched it for sure. Yeah, I wanted to see more B-ball Paul tonight for sure, man. Mark Glenn says, Greg Kelser loves B-ball, always raised about his play anytime he gets. Yeah, and I feel like he got more time tonight because JD went down, boss, but I felt like he should have been in the whole year. I feel like he just needs more time. I don't know what else he has to do to garner more time with the minutes he's gotten, like, albeit how small they are. Like, he always comes in and helps.
I mean, we are very lucky at the center position. We have 3
starters.
Centers. But again, with him, with Stu and them, like you said, would have liked to see him in earlier. And then I'm sure comments will get to it and you'll get to it too. I also question when he was taken out and why. I think he could have played a few more minutes, but that's okay.
Right, exactly, for sure. And then Wesley Snipes, come back around. Appreciate you, bro. Says coach should have played B-ball Paul more in the 4th. I thought so too. I thought so too. He played some heavy minutes in the 3rd when JD went out, and then we didn't really see him much after that.
We saw him in the beginning, and then
and then that was pretty much it, right?
You already back in. He got a standing ovation from the crowd.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, so I would have liked to see him more. That was one of the things, boss. We were saying we want to see him more. One of the positives of having Stu and JD was we thought by default we would see more Paul Reed, but it just really didn't happen. It hasn't been consistent. But I do like how he stays ready. Right. I do like Sean mentioned it. He stays ready. Guys like him and Daniels, those guys, he stays ready. He doesn't come in as like he's not prepared because he expects to not play. Like, he's always ready to play, and he shows it, man. So The Rock Never Stops says Philly fans loved Paul Reed. Yeah, that's what I heard too. I heard a lot of fans were really sad to see him go when he came here. And somebody else mentioned it too. We have him for a bargain. We got a lot of these guys for, I don't want to say cheap, but we got them on really nice deals. So that's another good thing to have as far as just the depth piece as well. But I gotta see more of him, man. I gotta see more of him because we mentioned how at times JD he will complain about fouls, and that's when guys like Bam would sprint down the court and get behind him and be able to get to the rim. Paul Reed is sprinting every single play.
He's always there. He's
every play.
both sides. He's just a
Yeah.
shooters. It's almost like it's like the rim, like he's like a magnet to the rims because if again, like you'll see him come down, you'll see him on one side get a rebound, and then you'll look and suddenly he's getting a layup on the other. Like, where'd you come from?
Right, exactly.
How'd you get there so fast?
Yeah, for sure. Devon says, heard that 6'7" too many times, like 6'7" too many times. I know, right? I feel you, bro. Maybe 60 or 70 too many times, you know? 313 says Paul Reed is a gem, 100%. Let's see. Let's get to some Paul Reed comments here. It says Reed gave a Loch Ness monster problems. The Loch Ness monster. Hello, where? Ethan says if we start Stu and Duren, Reed should be playing back. Yes, backup center minutes without injuries causing it. Exactly, without injuries causing it. That's the thing. I was hoping to see that. Boss has been one of his biggest fans all year. And she's been saying that all year. I want to see more B-ball Paul, and you were right about that,
The
Boss.
minute he shut down Drummond, you remember? Like
I do.
And the Sixers, like that's when I thought that he was just in. And like also we re-signed him. Last year I was
Right.
his advocate too, but last year, you know, he got very little minutes with big impact.
Agreed.
We re-signed him, so I was like, let's go. But I don't know, hopefully going forward, because he's been earning his minutes. The past couple games he's been only in for like less than 5, and it hasn't been great. He's made like
it's hard 5 minutes, yeah. Yeah.
He made like mistakes like a turnover in a short time, which isn't great. But tonight I think he definitely like earned that back because he was forced, especially with the JD injury, to have to play bigger minutes. And so like he's showing us and coach like I'm still here, I'm still ready.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought this was a good comment too. Duren trying to give it a go at the beginning of the second half really hurt us when B-Wall Paul could have brought energy we needed earlier, right? Because JD played I think like 2 or 3 minutes. He tried to give it a go. You know,
and you mentioned it to me. You're like, I don't like this effort because he's not getting back.
Exactly.
Because he was hurt.
Exactly. Right. And that was what it was. So I agree with you there, bro, for sure. I think because when he came in, he helped give us a boost, but it was a little bit too late in the game at that point. The lead already had ballooned to start the second half. And we were looking forward to for them to bring a rejuvenated energy to start the second half, right? And it just wasn't there. So I agree wholeheartedly with that comment for sure. Let's get to one more. Let's get to a couple more. David says, I've been saying that for months. More consistent minutes for Paul Reed. Yes. And why not try him at power forward when we have all these injuries at the 4 or the 5 for me? Like I would have said last year, the 4, because he wasn't big enough last year to play the 5. We saw last year when going against, he got bigger, right? Because we saw last year, boss, going against Mitchell Robinson at times. He just looked a little bit overwhelmed with his size. But this year, he's definitely bulked up. He's gotten stronger. I think he's a 4 or 5 tweener. And that's why I say whoever sits down between JD or Stu, have him come in. He can play the 4 or he can play the 5. Doesn't matter. So that's why I'm like, because he's versatile in the front court, why is he not? I can see if he was just a 5, just a 4, then maybe not, but he can play either one. So I'm like, why isn't he playing more? You know? So that's just me as far as Paul Reed.
Would you, just real quick off of that, so would you support a 2 big lineup with Paul Reed as second big?
Like starting? You mean?
No, or overall. Like if say Duren stayed healthy and they threw in Paul Reed with him.
Like when Stu sits down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think whoever sits down, one of those 3 needs to be coming in for the other.
Rotate.
That's the 3 big rotation for me. Okay. Yeah. Like I think all 3 of those guys can be interchangeable. I think they could all play together too. I think JD can play with Paul Reed because he can stretch the floor. It's not a conventional jump shot, but he can knock it down if left open. I think him and Stu can play together. Right. I think JD and Stu, obviously, I think all those 3 guys can play together regardless of who the 2 are that are in the game. So that's why I want to see it. Yeah. Good question, though, for sure. I feel you.
Just wanted that clarity from that because seeing him at the 4, just wanted to see. So who would you put him? So I think if him and Stewart in together, while they could switch rotation wise, I'd probably want Paul at the rim.
Yes.
Yeah.
What? Instead of Stu? Okay, because you feel like Stu's a better defender on the perimeter than Paul Reed.
We saw that.
We haven't really seen Paul Reed on the perimeter, though, have we? As far as guarding on the perimeter?
Bit. But like
we see a lot of that?
Like today when JD and Stu were in together, I mostly saw Stu. I guess I kind of switched because I would see Stu at the perimeter shooting, that's when he shot his 3 and JD was down low. But then I also saw JD start at the top on defense. And then Stu met the guy up. I guess
it's hard to say because Stu was so good in either spot, man. He's like
defensively, I want Stu. Defensively, I want Stu at the rim, and offensively, I want Reed at the rim.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, and you can go either way because both of those guys, if left open, can knock it down.
Yes.
So
Reed 3 in a while.
It's been a little minute, hasn't it? Been a little minute.
Yeah.
Let's go to one more thing because somebody mentioned Tolu Smith. Yeah, like
Super chat.
I wouldn't mind giving him a okay, we'll get to that. I wouldn't mind giving him a shot either.
Oh my God, exactly. That's the
I know how I
other
feel about
thing.
Tolu
Like,
for sure.
We haven't seen Tolu in a little bit because of injuries, but like that's 4. I mean, we guys go watch Tolu play and
Yeah, he's a dog, man.
So fun. He's like Paul Reed, and the fact that he just never stops and he will do it.
Yeah. He doesn't stretch the floor like Paul Reed, but in the paint, his motor's crazy.
He's another what you need, because if he's not scoring on offense and he's doubling down on defense, he's
agreed.
He's also bigger than a lot of guys.
Yeah, he's our tallest guy. He's 6'11",
but also just wide. Like
yes,
I could see him just trucking people over to the basket.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's get to one more in the super chat. Says I could see a bench rotation of Reed, Harris, Holland, Green, and Sasser with Ivy replacing Duncan in the start. Bro, that is exactly what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then mix in some Danis in there, like between Danis and Sass, matchup wise, go with one of those two guys. That's 100% what I see. It gives you nice balance of offense and defense, and maybe even a little Duncan in there, depending on the lineup. If you're not going to start Duncan in spots, but not as much as he's playing right now. I agree with that. Go ahead.
And that lineup right there, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 of those 5 people can shoot threes.
Good catch. So I agree. The spacing is good.
Then you're like, well, what about the 3? What about Duncan's offense? Well, some of those guys outshoot Duncan sometimes in games. So,
yeah, I mean,
tonight Green made just as many threes as Duncan did. So.
Yeah, and you're gonna get the defense from Green too. That's the thing when the shot's not falling.
Also, Holland can shoot threes, but I can't confidently say he's a 3-point shooter yet.
And once again, if his is not falling, defensively you're gonna. So I think this is a good lineup for sure. I'm looking to see some of these kind of changes happen soon. So we'll see. Once again, over this month, we'll see how these things kind of shake out. But good comment. Let's get to our super chat and then we'll keep it going, boss. Great Tate Debates 3038 says B-Ball Paul was a winning player at Philly. Oh, yeah. Glad he is ours now. Sasser is a dog. Fanboys like me want to BTA the Knicks.
Yes, of course.
Any response to that, boss?
I just love the energy. This is I could have written this. So I love the energy.
Love it.
I definitely appreciate the comment and the support.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. We appreciate that comment and the support. So let's keep it moving, boss. Let's move on let's go to Sass. Right? Marcus Sasser, man. Tonight, guys, Marcus Sasser had 18 points on 6 for 10 shooting, 4-6 from 3. Shot well from 3 again. 2-2 from the free throw line. Good free throw shooter. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 steals, boss, in 23 minutes. That is a mouthful. What did you see from the assassin tonight, boss?
First of all, I just have to say I'm just so happy that he had another good game after a good game, because when we saw him, when we saw him, me and you both talked about, like, we want consistent minutes, but of course, like, when the hype is high, just like we were with Danis too, and Danis kept it up, and he still could keep it up. His minutes just got down with stuff changing, but I was just excited for him to have another great night tonight. So in the first, he didn't really do much. That's when he had his bad shots, but then the second just completely changed. He had great offensive production. That was a nice lob to JD, where again, I think it was Duncan last game that had it to JD, or not, a couple games ago, where I don't know where it's going. Like, I'm like, what was that? And then you just see him emerge, like, like a whale coming out of the water. And it was beautiful. In the third, he immediately checked in and hit a 3, which led to the timeout. In the fourth, he had a big steal. His 3-point shooting was just on brand. You'll go more into it, but I know that I appreciate his 2 steals, because that's what he had last game too, and that's where he's crucial on defense. Being a smaller guy, he knows what he can do, and he does that. But so I just appreciated seeing that from him. 60% is fantastic. 4 from 6 for 3 is fantastic. 9 free throws. 2 turnovers on 2 assists. That kind of cancels it out. But a couple fouls. Yeah, he just did, again, 4 rebounds too. That was just incredible. I just loved his effort out there, and he just looked really good, and he looked confident as well. Even, his first 3 was an air ball, and he still made up for it and finished the night as our second leading scorer.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think he has a better understanding of what his role is going to be for this team now, boss.
Yeah.
We talked about it last show, but you saw the Pistons experimenting with him last year at point guard, and he just didn't look comfortable. Like you could see him out there running a set or two, and that will go well, or a play or two, and that will go well. But then after that, he would just kind of be out there. If that play would break down, he'd give the ball up and then never come back to him. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But now he just has much more command, I think, and just comfortability of understanding what he's supposed to be doing out there.
Exactly.
I think that's a big thing for him. Go ahead.
Yeah, just decision making too. Like Rock said, Marcus the Assassin Sasser is absolutely elite offensive skill. I think he becomes a legitimate 6th man of the year kid eventually. I like that. They called him, I mean, Blahat referred to him as the microwave, was it last year before? Because that's what he came in. He came in and just pop off threes, which is what Vinny Johnson did for us just in terms of shooting overall in his season in the bad boy years. I was trying to look for another one, but if you want to.
Oh, go ahead.
As well.
Do your thing.
There's another one someone said, just like, that also just pointed out his decision making. It was just elite and fantastic. And I think, to have that, especially if he does become the guy that we want to have after Cade.
Yeah.
We won a lot with Cade tonight, but after Cade, like to keep up that offensive production is huge with Cade off the court.
Yep, for sure. Like I said, I did a ton of whiffing about Sass being under pressure once he was healthy with the way Danis was playing. Boy, has he come out balling. He really has, man. I'm happy to see him get the opportunity and take advantage of it within the flow of the offense, though. Like he's not just hunting for shots out of the flow, just chucking. He's playing very under control and taking good shots.
It's just
I love it. Yeah, passing out of double teams. Right, just making plays, not just always scoring, but making plays. Let's get to Lenny real quick, and I'll come to you, boss. Okay. Says he been here for the first time on the show. Welcome to the show, man. Good win for us, but we caught you guys off a long road trip and took advantage. Respect to the Pistons. You guys have a really good team. Wish we had a guy like Cade. Man, it's been a long time since we had a guy like Cade, man. So, for real. So, you guys have had guys like Dwayne Wade.
I like Wade. Cade and Wade.
Yeah, right. Cade Wade. Yeah, Cade County over here in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we appreciate you, man. For sure. Yeah, for sure. As far as with Sass too, he did a good job, boss, of pushing the pace. Right? Just he has a tough finish at the rim. He's a good finisher. He's a good scorer, but a good finisher, man. To be 6'1", finishing over two guys in traffic. He's very talented offensively. But for me, boss, one of the most important benefits, I think, in abilities that he brings to this team value-wise is just his ability to create offense next to Cade.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning, because you mentioned.
Yes,
he can make hop off with that.
He can make plays. He can take pressure off of Cade. We always say, I hate seeing routinely where Cade has the ball in his hands and there are 10 eyes on him, 5 jerseys on him, right? Focused on him. With Sass out there, you saw whenever they try to double team, Sass was like this. He was ready, right? Like, and that's important. You will see them trying to hedge just enough, because Cade will usually have a mismatch, right, on Davion Mitchell or whoever, and you see Jaquez trying to hedge over whoever trying to hedge over, and whenever they come too far, Cade will make the pass, Sass will knock it down, right? Yeah. So he's making them pay for that, which eventually could give Cade more space, because the double team is going to come less. Go ahead, boss.
And Davion Mitchell is a great defender. I think he was on he was just talked about a lot I don't know if he was on the defensive team last year, but he was just talked about a lot defensively, a young guy coming into the league. So also props to Cade, because that was kind of his main matchup tonight, and he still put up 31. But I agree. I think Sass and Cade have played together for a couple of years now. I think that's super helpful. But, I just felt like when Cade was getting double team and Sass was on the floor with him, Sass made it an easy find for Cade. There were a couple double teams where Cade, had to go to someone tall, around to make sure they grab the ball. But Sass always made sure to get open. He's one of those guys that never stops moving and just gets to where he needs to go. Because he's another guy, again, he can be in the paint and make a shot. We saw him make his mid-range. We saw him make his threes today. So I think he just understands, like you were saying earlier, he just understands what needs to happen on the court, and he reads it very, very well.
Yes.
And I just love the Danis, since this has happened, since Danis popped off, we're like, oh no, Sass's job is in trouble, because those guys are buds. They're like brothers. They're
exactly.
So exactly. I want to see them pop off together, either one of them, I would love to retain, hopefully both. Yeah. But the way that he's playing right now, that they're both rooting each other on as well. They have similarities in their game too, different but similar, just in terms of, I think, their IQs, how they're reading the court.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
I think they have similar impact on the court, just in different ways.
Yes, exactly.
Like I would say Sass is more of a bucket getter. Like he can just put the ball in the hoop quickly. And Dennis can score too, but Dennis is more of a floor general.
Yeah.
He's a guy who's going to set you up. He's going to set the table more for you offensively. Make sure that he's not turning the ball over. He's under control. He's taking advantage of mismatches. He's moving the ball to get guys mismatches on the court. Like he's just directing traffic. And I think they just have impact in different ways. And that's why you may see one guy here, one guy there, just based on the matchup. David says, could Sass start with Cade, or is he simply too short to be the starting two? It's a great question. I still personally am going to give Jaden Ivey a chance to start.
Yeah.
I personally think you can't teach the size piece. And I do think at this juncture, guys, that Sasser is a better creator than Jaden Ivey is. I think Jaden Ivey is a guy who can be a secondary playmaker, who can make plays out of double teams, even at times initiate offense, right? But when he's getting downhill, that's when he's at his best, and he can knock down shots for you as well. So I think Dennis not Dennis, but Marcus Sasser just has a feel about him offensively, where he can just get buckets whenever he wants, and he can take the pressure off Cade because he can also make plays for you. I just think his game is a little bit more well-rounded as far as a combo guard in your backcourt. But as far as the size, I do worry about that. And once again, because I hate to be a broken record, but Trajan Langdon has said multiple times that he wants that optionality when it comes to having players who can defend in multiple positions.
Right.
And that's the thing that I would worry about. Go ahead, boss.
Yeah.
Good question, though.
The size, I do think the way that he's contributing on offense and like also with his steals, it kind of makes up for it, but it's definitely an issue. But for me, I still am for Ivy. I think that why people aren't jumping to Ivy or a little bit like, oh, now we're on the Sass train because Ivy hasn't put up an 18. Like this is now a 19-point game and then an 18-point game in a row for Sass. That's huge. And we haven't seen that yet from Ivy, but we know that it's there. For me, having Sass as an option for either Cade or Ivy is huge. So we could see him on the court with Ivy,
agreed,
on the court with Cade to give one of those guys a rest, depending on how the game flow is going.
True.
And so I could see him there. I think if we do move Ivy and he got injured, then I would put Sass in. But I think just knowing that he can come in and keep the game, that's like kind of, again, I'm sorry, I'm comparing it to the Nuggets again, but a huge thing with Jokic, like when he went out, the Nuggets would go minus. And we don't want that with Cade being out. We want to make sure we have someone that can also produce on offense, because Cade is both ways and two ways, but our scoring, I think, tends to go down a little bit when Cade's on the bench. So we just want to keep someone that can keep it steady or keep it hot for us. And I think that can absolutely do that. I
agree. And that's we talked about it before, boss. I'm not concerned about this yet, but I did observe this, and I'm going to watch how this plays out going forward. I did see that the Heat were trying to hunt Sass a little bit.
Yeah.
They were defensively, they were trying to hunt him, just getting him in the post, getting him on mismatches. And even when there were times where he just had to foul him because they were just too big.
Right.
But you would also see guys trying to come over and help because they just knew, he just wasn't big enough. So, and once that happens, you got to rely on your rotations to be sound.
Yeah.
When that happens, it is hard to rely on that consistently.
Exactly.
That requires a lot, right? So
it's something we're still learning.
Yeah. So that's something I'm going to watch, right? I'm not saying it's a problem, but I did notice they were trying to kind of go at him on the defensive end. And being somebody who was a undersized point guard, I know what that's like. So I'm just going to be watching for that with him. But I do think that he does bring a lot to the table for sure, boss.
Yeah, and I think again, if our guys are getting better at double teaming and switching, kind of like how we saw again, I mentioned it with Duren going over to help with Powell and stuff. And I don't know. So if we had two bigs in, or like Ausar and Duren and Sass and Cade, that wouldn't worry me too much. It's just like if it gets too small,
right,
kind of one big guy out there that we would need to help. That would be it. But I do think that right now, especially in a game like tonight, his size didn't kill us. Other things did too, and he made up for it.
Agreed.
That could be a problem in the future, but we'll just see going forward how that fits and how he makes it work. Because again, he did make up for it he's a little pesky with steals. Because that's the same thing teams have seen with TJ McConnell, which I've compared him to a little bit before. Some other guys, I think, who's Ryan Nembhard, I think is 5'11". Is it Nembhard?
Yeah. I think he is 5'11". Yeah.
So he's small too, but he makes up for it as well. just so there is a spot. It's just making sure that everybody's aware of it when you're on the court to make sure that they provide the proper help and defense and switches when needed.
Right. Exactly. So we'll see. Let's get to some Sass comments real quick. Mega Hustler says Sasser is Tony Delk. Yeah, Tony Delk was a bucket, man. He was a good shooter. Definitely see that there. J.A. Smoke says Sasser equals short Ben Gordon light. Bucket getter. Ben Gordon. I remember him as well.
This guy hates Ivy in the comments.
Oh, him? You don't like? It is what it is. I still got confidence, but I respect it. Let's get to a few more. Dre Money says Sasser reminds me a little bit of Will Bynum. I remember Will Bynum. Will the Thrill Bynum for sure. Had bunnies for sure. He was also a bucket. I think he was like 6. Was he like 5'11"? He was like 5'9", 5'10". I think he was
built like a baked bean, as they say.
Yeah, she was a bit like a tank for sure. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think in certain lineups you can place. I don't know if I would start Sass.
Yeah.
I think there may be games when he finishes because we gotta get buckets. We need, I could see that as far as helping Cade off ball. So Cade is not once again always having to be the one to initiate. I think you could see him doing that as well. So we'll see. Right Never Stop says Sasser wasn't nearly as much of a liability as 6. And that's what I was saying.
That's
what I was saying.
We talked about it because we talked, and I was just like, but I think he's making up for it, and that's the whole thing. It's like they both put an effort on the defensive end, but if you're going to kind of get run over on the defensive end, you need to make up for it for the offensive end. So I definitely agree with that there.
And even defensively, I feel like he may be more of a net positive than Duncan defensively.
It's the size, and we talked about this.
Yeah,
he stays in front of his defender. He knocks balls away. Duncan's been doing. Duncan's been doing a little bit more of that too, like being a little bit more aggressive on that. But Sass, it's built into him. I think he's used to it. When you're a small guy, you have to be used to that. You have to know what to do on the defensive end. So. I absolutely agree with that statement too. And it's that whole thing of like, we love Duncan when he's hitting his shots and we want him out there.
Right.
But again, like tonight for me, Duncan wasn't an issue because he did only play 20 minutes. Like JB saw it and he saw what he needed to be. But I think part of that was because of Sass and his offensive play was why they didn't need to throw in a shooter.
Yeah. Torch says Bynum was super fast, but he wasn't a good shooter. That's the thing. Yeah. He was a good finisher around the rim. He was pretty good in the mid-range, but he wasn't a great shooter. So I understand you there as well. And I with that said, I still am going to give Jaden a shot to start because once again, defensively too, like even though Sass isn't a bad defender, like we talked about the size and things like that, but Jaden is 6'4", 6'5", and he's built like a football player.
Yeah, and
he still has the speed to stay in front.
This is the first tough game in a while.
It is.
And so, but again, like it would be different. Like if it was the Lakers game and J.I. played the way he did tonight, I'd be like, okay, you were a liability out there. But everybody had their shortcomings tonight. So I can't, I'm not going to put it all on Ivy, and we know that he'll bounce back because he wants to. And we talked about it. It's just a little bit of a trust your instincts, trust your shot kind of thing. And he also wasn't throwing up a bunch of shots, which I appreciate from him. Like he is waiting for his chance, but at some point you have to go and take your chance, like go and create your offense or tell the team, the team has to help create that for you.
Yeah, that's true too. So we'll leave it there, guys. I think you guys make some solid points.
Yeah.
We don't always agree, and that's why we love having y'all here. So we can talk about, the disagreements and things we see that are similar as well. So we'll leave it there, guys. We will talk about next game a little bit. So, guys, next game. Oh, also, one more thing. I saw it from a comment from who was it I mentioned? I saw earlier, boss. I think it was the same commenter that talked about that is a Miami Heat fan. Yeah. Says, thank you guys for welcoming me on. I like the way you guys break things down with both of your analysis. I'm enjoying the show. We'll be coming back. Appreciate you, Lenny, for sure. Yeah. Welcome on back, man. We love having you here. Talking because we would also like to hear about the Heat and what you see from them too next time we play you guys.
Yeah, I'm curious real quick, if you can throw it in. Do you like Simone?
Oh man, let us know because he was traded for Duncan.
Duncan, I just want to know.
Great question for sure. So we'll leave it there, guys. But moving on to the next game, boss. Up next for the Pistons is a road matchup, back on the road against the Cleveland Cavaliers this coming Sunday. So, boss, the last time the Pistons played the Cavs was on October 27th, and that was a 21-point loss, one of the toughest of the season. But here's the thing. if you guys can recall that game, we actually played them pretty well in the second half. They jumped on us quick, like in the first half. They outscored us by 9 in the first quarter, 13 in the second quarter. But the rest of the game, we played them even. So I would imagine the game plan for this game coming up will be something along the lines of what I say this team wants to do, which is hit first, dictate the style of play, and set the tone. Yeah, I expect them to come out and try to do that and not get down early like they did last time. So we'll see how that plays out, boss. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I've been kind of keeping up with the Cavs. I just watch a lot of NBA no matter who's on, like in the background. And they, like the Knicks, are just kind of a fourth quarter comeback team. They have some shooters. They have Mitchell is always going to be a threat. I think that our centers are actually a little bit better than their centers this year in terms
Agreed.
of but they're kind of there's someone to watch out to is that like you said, we have to build a big lead and then we have to sustain it because they can get hot and they can, come back. That's kind of where a few of the games has come back has been later on in the game. Yeah. They dominate kind of the second half. So that's what I want to see from them. And their season has been kind of up and down. They've like won 3 and then lost 3 and then won 1 and lost 2. And so they're a little bit up and down, a little bit like the stretch we're going through right now of like wins and losses. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a fun game. I think we have a little bit of youth on them. Our defense really has to be strong. And then we need to take advantage of our offensive possessions and really just, I think if we cut our turnovers in half of tonight, then it's if we played down the way we played tonight, but with 10 turnovers instead of 21, I think we would beat the Cavs. Honestly. Yeah,
the sluggish start that we had in this game, we can't afford that against the Cavs. Yeah. Like we gotta come out sharp. We gotta hit them first and dictate how the game is going to be played from jump and not be trying to play catch up in the second half like we did the entire second half last time. So
this is tough. So it was an ankle sprain for Duren. So because we had mentioned that when we talked about the too big, we mentioned the Cavs as a too big lineup with Allen and Mobley. But I'm still really not concerned about that. I think again,
that's tough though.
If Mobley was playing as aggressive as some of our guys were, I don't know, it'll be hard, but I think even Ausar could take on Mobley and leave Allen for
Stewart
and Reed. Yeah.
Okay. It's so unfortunate because that was one of the matchups I wanted to see. I wanted to see the Cavs. When I heard Stewart's going to be starting, I was like, bet we get to see the too big lineup against the Cavs, too big lineup against the Knicks, which is what we talked about, Ross, as far as being able to match up, right? So it's just so unfortunate that as we're approaching those games, we lose one of those guys. Go ahead.
Hopefully it's not a long thing. Maybe we will see Tolu too. I would love to see Tolu on like Cat. That'd be fun.
Yeah, for sure. And we need to rebound as a team, as Mitchell DMG Robinson says now, for sure.
Knicks too, right now.
Who's that?
As of right now, Mitchell Robinson is out for the Knicks.
Oh, really?
Their only big is Cat.
Is Cat? Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So
interesting. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see it bounce out a little bit. Well, listen, guys, that is a wrap for tonight's show. It's been a great show as always. We didn't get the dub, but we still had fun. We still was able to have some perspective as we always do. We appreciate you guys' comments, man. It was great comments tonight. Great discourse as always. So, guys, make sure. Yeah. Go ahead, boss.
I was going to say thank you guys for everybody who donated tonight.
Again,
last night,
for sure.
Next game, I'll let you know how much we raised and
give
you guys all shout outs. I'm so excited about it. It really just truly warms my heart. It was a very, very bright light, your guys' super chats tonight in the light of the dark loss. But
yeah, this has been great, man. We really appreciate you guys' support, man. It's going to go to a great cause. So we're really looking forward to, just being able to show you guys love. And we will have those shout outs coming in the next episode or two. So definitely keep an eye on that for sure. Yeah, get those New Year's resolutions done, man, for sure. Get them done. Let us know what they are in the comment section, guys. But we appreciate you guys as always for showing up, showing out as you always do. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you are new. We appreciate you guys. Yes. And listen, hope you guys have a great night. Get some sleep. And y'all know the drill, man. Until next time, Detroit versus everybody. See y'all Sunday. Peace.
All the dirty work, all dog. I'ma dive on the floor, go try to block every shot, and I'ma be physical with you the whole game. You know Stu gonna be physical with you. When you think of the Pistons, you think it's just hard work and just gritty basketball. that's just the identity you gotta have when you put on that jersey.
I'm not your average breed of canine. Not a good dog, I'm bad boy for life. I set the tone, don't care about no tick. Let it be known, I get my respect. Come in the lane and see I don't bluff. If you retaliate, that's on ya. Talking pundits, I hear you're ashamed. Talking that chop, you must run this way. Look at dog palm, mess around, find out, Look at dog palm, mess around, find out, For some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that. When you're ready for some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that.